Hey everybody, welcome to Lost Caravan RPG. This is part 2 of Women in Woe, a necrobiotic mystery slash story. Um, if you don't know who I am, I'm OMG Holly D. I'm going to be your machinist tonight. But before we get started, I want to tell you about our sponsors for the stream. Or for Lost Caravan RPG is Soul Muppet Publishing. They just finished up a Kickstarter for the game Inevitable, which in theory and to put it simply is Space Knights. So it's really great. They are the creators of Orbital Blues, which I played in last Tuesday. It's amazing. And if you haven't, it's very easy to pick up. It's very easy to play. I recommend everyone check it out. If you like Cowboy Bebop and a bunch of other things, you will love it. Um, other than that, uh, I'm going to have everyone go around and introduce themselves, and then I will bring everybody up to speed. Everybody, if you guys could just go ahead and introduce who you are and who you're playing, and specifically what their job is with the Citadel or in the world of Necrobiotic. I do want to make mention, unfortunately, tonight, our dear friend Nikki could not reschedule for part 2, and I just want to shout out to her and tell her that we miss her. And but yeah, we'll go ahead and start. Lonnie, we'll start with you.
Sure, yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Lonnie or Looney Shaz. Tonight I'm going to be playing Rue. I believe it's Technophist, but I'm not sure if it might have gotten changed. Um, is it Technophist still or is it
It's
Technophant?
no,
No,
it's Technosifer.
Technosopher. There we go.
Yeah.
I will be your Technosopher for the evening.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to Blair. I'm going counterclockwise the way I see you guys on Skype. So
Gotcha. Hi, I'm Blair, or underscore Canadian Moose all over the place. I'm playing Viviana Savino, who is I'm the techno fant, so that's me. Let's go.
all right, Kelly.
Hey, I'm Kelly, pronoun she, her, playing Tove, also she, her, and I am an architect.
The best. Kuda, go right ahead.
Hey yo, I am Erica Kuda Merler, and basically, if you put Kuda Merler in, you'll find me on whatever social media platform that brings your black little heart joy. Uh, I write game modules and games, books, and all sorts of fun things. And I'm just really happy to be playing game with Holly again. Tonight, I love I like everyone here, and this is awesome. Sorry, you excuse the anyway. Um
You're good.
so I'm playing Mary Shelley tonight. I am also playing an architect for the Citadel. All life is super crazy important, but my character may or may not have mixed feelings if you're not being appropriate with life. So we'll go from there.
All right. Okay, so to kind of brief everybody, because we did some counting today, and we are, what was it, 4 months to the day. So 4 months to the day,
To
we
the
played
day?
this to the day.
What? That's crazy. I love
Yeah,
that.
right? I know, serendipitous for sure. Um,
Yes.
but the story we are telling is essentially the four of them have been summoned by a higher up. The higher up essentially sent them to go uh, investigate some civil discourse that was happening in Fair Verona, where we lay our story. and um, but what happened last time is there was an assassination attempt on what would be considered the town mayor ish type character. And they unfortunately found that women have been going missing left and right. And in the world of Necrobiotic, all life is sacred. But when you die, you are just as useful as when you were alive. And uh, they had found a journal from the 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 head architect doctor there, whose name is Dr. Nigel Graves. And in this journal, they had found some very questionable drawings, choices, all seem to be medically sound. However, as they kept going in to the journal, they found that these drawings, these plans became far more gruesome and nefarious. Um, I will go ahead and preface that this is definitely a rated R stream. I will do my very best to keep things to the most medically correct terms as I possibly can. But yes, and when we left, they had just, Dr. Nigel Graves had just re entered his office where this group had discovered the journal. His assistant had shown up, and they were in the midst of trying to tell her what was going on when Dr. Graves showed up. And now that's where we're at. And I will set the pace here as Dr. Graves. Um, so um, Marigold was here, right? So this was Nikki's character. She was here, and Dr. Graves was interested in her. And when that happens, Marigold sensed that, and as a children of the river, she was able. She used her ability to essentially like cherry blossom out, and um, and this all happened in tandem as he looked over at her, and then you, I do believe it was you, Tove, who said, who was like, what was going on?
Yeah.
And so as he looked to you, Marigold made her exit. Um, and he looks at you and he says, I have no idea what you're talking about. I see that you have my medical journal.
And so these were he drew these pictures, right? And this is his handwriting.
Some of these, yes. So what you
Okay.
can tell, especially the ones towards the end, and that was like the big thing, was that the ones towards the end are absolutely, you can tell that the writing from that note that Rue had with that was covered in blood, um, that Rue had saved, was the exact same as the last pages in this. Also, before you answer, we're going to go ahead and draw cards. Everybody has to draw cards because Necrobiotic is a diceless game. It's like probably my favorite thing about it. I love dice, don't get me wrong, but so I'm going to have everyone go ahead and draw your deck, and it is 6 cards. So did anybody, I'm going to go ahead and ask now, did anybody draw their king?
Oh,
Oh no, Blair, you did it last time too.
I know. I was just about to say. I did do that.
Okay, good times. Okay. So Blair, why don't you share with everyone? So in the game of Necrobiotic, a king is kind of a drawback, a setback, something that it would be you know, not necessarily bad, but it is going to be looked at as something like you are neurodivergent in a world of neuro not spicy, okay? Like, so Blair, go ahead and share with everyone what your king is, and we're going to play this out really quickly.
Gotcha. So, my my character has some insecurities, and my king is overcompensation. Um, So this is one I think that we homebrewed, if I remember
It
correctly.
is.
Do you want me to read the description as
Yeah, go
well?
right ahead. I think it's fun just so everybody kind of knows like what to expect.
For sure. So you've never been the best, not naturally anyways, but the idea you need to be, or wait, um, but the idea you need to be is ever present. You have a strong need to prove you deserve to be in the room, and you'll do whatever it takes to show that. So my my insecurities are bubbling up
Yes.
as we.
Okay. So your insecurity. This is how this is going to play out. Okay. Now you can change it for flavor any way that you would see fit more appropriately for your character. Okay.
Okay.
Um, but how this works is, um, you hear him uh doubt your colleague, right? Like you just met Tove, but y'all are in it deep now together, right? And so you take this as a personal affront to you. Not only is he discrediting Tove, he's now discrediting you and what you are saying.
Hmm.
And I will let you describe how that plays out for Viviana.
Can I like do a thing, like full on do a thing?
What thing would you like to do?
So I think like, we've just been going over this journal. It's been very intense. We were trying to explain to the assistant we're not really sure like how. I think that's what we were trying to figure out, like how does the assistant feel? Kind of getting the temperature of that. Um and so for the for Dr. Graves to come in is kind of like a big surprise. I think she might kind of, in her head, she's trying to take control of the situation. Um, but maybe it's a little overkill. I think she might, and maybe like she can do this with her technophant suit, um, kind of like quickly go over behind Dr. Graves and like hold his arms, kind of like restrain him and like hold his arms back, to where like he can't escape, he can't go anywhere. We're gonna talk to him about this. Nobody's moving. Um, and yeah, just kind of try to like go behind and like hold him really tight,
Okay.
if that's
Um,
okay.
it's okay. So I will allow you to restrain him, but I need you. Um, to do this, I need you to. You can choose the card, but I would like for you to discard a card. This is how this is going to work because something bad has to necessarily happen. However, I will allow the restraint, but I do want you to lose the card
Gotcha. Okay, let's see.
because you
Do
got
I
your
need to
hands.
show you?
No, I don't care what you discard. It is your
Oh,
choice.
okay. Look really fast. Okay. Okay. Do I want to discard that one? Oh no. Now I have to remember all this really fast. Okay. I really I'm gonna reveal a card that I have really quickly. What does the Joker do?
Okay, so your Joker is an automatic success.
Oh,
It
okay, then
is, yeah. Don't
I don't
don't
have one of
discard
those. I
that.
don't have one
Yeah,
of those.
it's okay that you do. Technically, you always have your Joker, and you always have your Queen. So, and
Oh,
like
that's
your
right.
Jack, like you already always have them, even if they aren't actually in your hand. But if they're in your hand, you can use them, but then you discard them in your discard pile. So that type of thing. Um,
Gotcha.
but yes. Yeah, so you can just discard a card. And how this plays out is he surprisingly, like Dr. Graves doesn't really resist. And when you like grab him, he's like, I I don't really understand what I mean, why are you guys in here and why are you in my things? And as he says in my things, his tone kind of like it changes from like the Dr. Graves that y'all had spoke to earlier to kind of like all I can liken it to in my head is like, why are you touching my things? I always, and I know this sounds so silly, I always liken it to when Gretchen Wieners is like, freaks out and she's like, she doesn't even da, 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 da," and she like loses her like that's how it is. It is straight up like, why are you touching my things without asking why are you touching my things? Like
Uh, I think Viviana is gonna go. This is just a precaution, sir. We need to ask some questions. There was some stuff in here that we don't really understand. We just want to get some clarification. Is that okay with you?
and he looks at you and I think he kind of clocks your insecurity when you grab him and he says, well, I mean, it's definitely above your pay grade and surely above your intellect. So maybe you should step to the side. And he kind of looks over at Mary and he looks over at Tove and is like, let the doctors talk.
The
No,
doctors can still
No,
talk
no,
while I
no,
have a hold of
no,
your hands.
no,
I
no.
will. I want to name drop and be like, we were, it's not. It may be above their pay grade, but not when they're working for me, who is working for. Kelly doesn't know. Dr. Mendeleev.
Good, good.
So, I need you to just answer these questions and appreciate you not resisting. She will break wrists, possibly not on accident.
And he kind of looks over at you, Tove, and is like, okay. And he doesn't really give you much else. And he kind of like, as he's like waiting on you guys to kind of respond, he does slowly like size each and every single one of you up. And it is like a full head to toe eye contact when he comes up. And he makes sure that you know he was looking at you.
Oh, dear, lovely, wonderful person running our game. For Mary's information, is there a Bunsen burner in this delightful office?
Nope, this is strictly an office.
Just strictly an office.
Mm-hmm.
Will a laser rifle do the job that you're looking for?
No, I forgot something even better. My esteemed colleague Tove, may I please see the good doctor's notes?
Are they gonna come back?
Yes.
We need them as evidence if we are
Uh-huh.
going to. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
one of my character's wonderful little things is the Zap Zap hand.
Yes.
It's my claw construct, and it's powered with steam and gears and kind of clicks and fires and as I'm holding the notes, but we don't need all the notes. And this procedure, and I open to later notes, looks fairly complicated, hence the detailed notes. And I just kind of let things start to spark and fire from my hand, and I keep getting it closer to the page. So, Citadel considers all life sacred, but if you don't consider life sacred, the Citadel will have other uses for you.
Oh, I do. I took the same architect oath as you. Why would I okay,
Your
can
notes
someone just
confuse
explain?
me.
Okay, do you need me to break it down for you? Ask your questions.
No, I'm confused. The procedures in here would lead to the harm and destruction of life, not the protection of it. That's the confusion. The very thing you're swearing to uphold is being undone in your notes. And I let part of the edge of the page singe at this point.
I think what our esteemed colleague Mary is trying is jumping to the conclusion we've all kind of surmised this. We want you to just confirm our observations that there are notes in here of very intricate anatomical detail and all females. And on our way in, missing posters, all females. How would you get these notes? What is your source? our assumption is a body.
So you're and he starts to talk. Hold on. And he starts to talk, and all of a sudden you hear M- Dr. Mackenzie Weathers' assistant, right? And she's like, you am I to surmise that you guys are saying that Dr. Graves is responsible for the death of these women?
Or at least knowledgeable of how they're occurring.
From some pictures in a book that an architect,
Are you an architect?
she is. And
Oh,
that's
she
yeah,
fully graduated. Oh, fuck.
she's taken the oath and everything. She's
Okay.
brand new, but she's
Mhm.
very happy to be working for Dr. Graves. Like,
Okay.
And from
from
what
last time, I will tell you from last time, you guys were able to understand that she doesn't really know what's going on. Like, no, yeah, I mean, you guys can try to do that again, but I will tell you that as far as characters go, she doesn't really know what's going on. She's just really involved in her work, likes what Dr. Graves is doing, like, the faithful assistant.
Yeah, because I thought we had established that the handwriting in the book belonged to Dr. Graves last time. I was
Yes,
I
you
was
did.
working under that assumption. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
still true.
Okay.
Well, okay. So then, what was her name? That assistant? You just said
Uh,
it.
Mendel.
yes.
Nope. That's the
Oh, no,
that's
that's
the
our
high ranking
boss.
doctor. Yeah, that's all of our. That's my wealthy patron.
Mackenzie Withers.
Yeah. Sorry, I've got a gear loose.
uh, Miss Mackenzie. How do you did you see our fine doctor here draw these? Do you know what he used as his visual reference and understanding?
Um, well, considering I have never seen this book before, I think for me, I have seen him tallying notes. I have seen him trying different techniques, different cutting things. I, I, m- I mean, what's the proof other than the fact that they're women and there are women drawn in this book?
That's what we're trying to. I mean, if we need to dig deeper, we certainly can. I was just waiting to see if the doctor would save us the trouble.
Also, the pictures, and like I hold up like the half singed page. These pictures are pretty graphic of descriptions and cut ups, and that's a uterus flayed open. So, you don't just. I'm sorry, like I look
Well,
at
I'm not.
you and
I mean,
where your organs belong, and I can't just see it and see its pieces. This is someone who has taken action here.
I I understand your concern, but I don't know if you are aware. And you can kind of feel her like tone shift that she's like really annoyed at this point. She's like,
Ugh.
humanity is on the brink of extinction.
Yes, and
Oh.
oh yeah, because all of my
So
constructs have nothing to do with figuring out how to keep humanity going.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay,
Hold on.
Tove, you handle this. You handle this, because I'm about ready to kill 2 people.
I am understanding how you have taken, both of you have taken your architect's oath and have bastardized it basically under the assumption that a few lives will be worth saving humanity, assuming it works, which I don't know if it does or doesn't.
This won't work.
But I'm assuming that these people didn't consent to this.
So now
Let's
you're
let the doctor
saying,
talk.
and as you say that, Dr. Graves looks at you, and you kind of just, you guys are gonna all know what I'm talking about. That smile that someone gives you when they think they're the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gross. And and and
Oh my
they
good description.
and like he just kind of just like he looks at Mackenzie as if he is like a proud papa. Like he's just like this person gets it. That's what he sees, okay? and she just kind of takes a step back as you say that, Tove, and um, basically, um, he gives that sly grin and he says, "So, from my book, you have deduced that I am the person that is responsible for all of the missing women in this area or missing persons. That's not just women. I am also very concerned it's majorly women. Um, but we, as a plague on the earth, speaking, okay, he's speaking about humans, are on the brink of extinction, and you are confused as to why I'm trying to find a way to continue."
Oh, I'm not confused about the why. I'm appalled at the how.
And
Did
how and how, pray tell, how? How am
I
I
would
doing it?
probably at least ask the people if they wanted to have their uterus flayed open in the name of science before doing so. That'd be my first how. Is this board approved research?
We wouldn't have been sent to investigate if it had been board approved, Tove.
Exactly, but every good architect knows that the first thing you have to do before conducting any research is get board approval.
This is true. So is there a
Well,
rat back home? Oh, that wouldn't be fun.
Oh, I'm just trying to
Um,
point out that Dr. Graves is not a real architect, but
oh
he
well,
doesn't
we
deserve
already
the title anymore.
hello.
I just wanted to bring it to his
Have,
face.
have you seen this drawing? Do you see how off he has like the fallopian tubes and the ovaries? Like this is not someone who's ever actually like
and
really
you hear
understood how to
him
draw
let out this
anatomy.
big sigh. Dr. Graves just lets out this big sigh, and he's like,
So smart.
I I don't know what to tell you. If you're asking me to say I murdered someone, I did not. I would never.
Then where did your references come from, good Dr. Graves?
I've been an architect for 25 years. I literally break down bodies and send them to the Citadel.
So you're saying this was the bodies were already dead when you got them, and you just did a little extra slicey science, and sent them onto the Citadel?
Because I'm confused. These notes don't look aged. And as someone as a fan of books, I know what aged books look like.
Um,
This is a waste of perfectly good tree, by the way. These are not the kind of hallucinations anybody should be having.
um, Mackenzie, she is, you know, upset by this. That you guys are continually to not only like berate her mentor, but now you guys are insisting that she's part of this in some way and that she is the person that has taken. And she's like, I am not going to stand here and let you guys throw dirt on my name, throw dirt on Dr. Nigel Graves' name. He has been an asset, and I mean an asset to the Citadel. Surely, you all, and she specifically looks at Tove and Mary and is like, surely you've read the numerous, you know, articles that he has put out and think like he's created one of the easiest and most fascinating tanning aspects of of the human skin so that it is usable. And she kind of smirks and she's like, well, he's no Elizabeth Gorey, but in case you didn't know, Elizabeth Gorey is the one who came up with the myoglobin serum to power the the constructs. And so
Oh.
she's like he's no Elizabeth Gorey, but I'll be damned if I stay here and let you call him a murderer. And she goes to walk out the door.
Hey, you know what? Actually, that's perfect. So, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what they're talking about, and I think it's a good idea for you to go for a walk. Do you mind if I join you? Just
not going
separate from
for
all
a
these
walk.
talks. Looks like you're about to head out the door.
I'm leaving, yes, and I'm going to find the next person in charge.
Oh, okay.
Could
So,
I join you to go find that person?
What are you doing there? What do you want to try to do?
So I am
Oh,
basically
sorry, go ahead,
trying
Rue.
to I am basically trying to get potential victim out of the room of potential abuser to actually have a serious talk with her and just be like, "Hey, like how new are you? Has he had multiple like I'm trying to be nice and question her, but like she's already trying to storm out, so I'm going to, you know,
Just follow her out. Okay. You don't have to do anything other than do that. You can do that. And Dr. Graves is like the the fortunately for you, the mayor has been injured. And
Fortunately,
yes, which means that that's not who I'm going to get, so that I can send your asses packing back to the Citadel and hold you on
okay.
trial for
Well,
what you doing.
so this is my Jack Bade, and I
Mhm.
would like to take. And so, um, Blair still has Dr. Graves, and I just want to take my construct hand and just zap the backside of his brain so he passes out. And because I have an understanding of, I'll make sure of neurological programming, I can hit that and not stun him and not kill him. So
So,
I would like to
necrological
zap him,
programming,
or does that
I'm
not
fine.
work that way?
It doesn't work that way.
Oh,
So this is
shoot.
specifically only to constructs. You can program a construct to do anything, or
I-
deprogram a construct to stop doing something.
Oh, oops, I misread. But I do
It's
also
okay.
have either advanced med or emergency pharmacology if either
So
of
I'm
those serve
actually
my
okay with
purposes.
you. To me, in this way, I feel like advanced med definitely helps here a little bit. So I will allow you to do. I will allow you. I will give you two choices. I will not let you knock him out, but I will let you cause him pain to slow him, or to incapacitate. Okay, words are hard.
Incapacitate.
Incapacitate?
Woo!
Break
What
his
gets him?
kneecaps.
I
What gets
did
Break
him
it.
his
to?
kneecaps.
I want him to stop speaking.
Okay.
Like I am done with the, and I feel I feel like Blair could be much more useful elsewhere besides holding the hot bag of gas.
Yes, and that's fine. So I will allow you to. This is what we'll do. Okay, when you shock him, all right, Mary. You shock him just enough. You don't necessarily send him into VFib or AFib, okay? But what you do
Wasn't the
is
goal?
you give those neurons a little jolt. And sometimes when those neurons get a little jolt, you struggle with some type of aphasia. And
Work.
and you are able to do this. And so when he gets this and he kind of is like zzz, and he kind of loses his ability to speak. And I'm going to give you a time limit on this, okay?
Fair.
You have 3 minutes.
Okay.
Oh,
Um,
can I help there then?
what would you like to do?
I'm gonna. Is there like a rope around and a chair? I would like to tie him up. Um, just to while he's down, just kind of get him to where he's not going anywhere.
I'm eyeing my scalpel, y'all. I've got my scalpel with me.
You should we could sew his mouth shut.
See, I'd rather remove his hands because I don't
So
like.
as you guys are discussing,
Sorry.
Mackenzie, no, you keep doing y'all. Mackenzie goes to walk out the door, and Rue, you follow behind.
Mhm.
And
I have my laser pistol being held behind my back, not to try to scare her, but to kind of like if the doctor does happen to like see and want to be like, wait, I'm gonna follow my, my assistant, he knows not to.
gotcha. That's fine. You walk out and you can tell like Mackenzie's like visibly shaken. Like she is like red in the face. She looks like she is on the verge of tears. She is like, cannot believe that this is happening. And she's almost like struggling to even be able to like think about what her next step will be. Like you can, I mean, she's like straight fumbling like right now. She's just like in panic mode and she's like walking out the door as fast as she can. And she gets down the steps and she kind of stands there and she like looks to the center of town where the mayor has just been shot. And like, the rain is still like, it's still kind of misting. It's not really like raining. It's just starting to get a little warm. And like, the sun is setting and she can see like I had said before, the blood that from the mayor is like mixing in now because people are walking constantly and she's just kind of in a panic and she kind of like she just freezes like and it is you can tell that it's just like almost like a melancholic freeze. Like she's just so sad by what is like happening right now because she looks at you and goes, I cannot believe that you guys are doing this right now. Like, our mayor was literally just shot.
So here's the thing. I'm not good with these heart to hearts all the time, but the thing is, we're not doing anything. We're putting pieces together that seem to already exist. And you can certainly tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. But has your doctor had a lot of other assistants before you? Have you ever had any inkling of doubt about his intentions? I'm not asking you to outright say everything that the architects in there have been saying. Is there anything that rings true that is scaring you more? Because we're just trying to figure this out. There are girls going missing. And we don't want you to be that next girl, but we also don't want there to be any at all. So, part of the reason I followed you out here was because if there are any reasons that you don't trust him, you can let it out here.
Okay. I'm going to have you make the first like check of the night.
Oh gosh.
I want you to do an empathy. So it's flesh, which is hearts.
Mhm.
And a suit match is a success. And if you have trained in empathy, you can play 2 cards, which you can have more than your average success if you do this. But if you don't have a suit match, you need to do a number match, which is 8
Okay.
or more. 8
Does
or
the
more.
does the jack do anything in this
Yeah,
moment?
okay. I always do this every time. My brain cannot keep it straight. So a queen is something that you are born with. I do believe it's innate, and a jack is something you have earned.
Trained
And
in, yeah.
yes. So if you feel like the jack skill that you have would do that, I will let you do it.
Ah. Well, okay. So my jack ability is Devoted Junker. You have trained your body through years of exploration of the tech of yesteryear to forget you are hungry, tired, or fatigued when not within Florence. And I know that doesn't sound like anything that would work in this specifically, but it has been a very long day, and I'm still sitting there having the same passion that I would be having talking about something as if it were fresh in the morning, just had a cup of coffee. I don't know if that works.
No, so I will allow that. Um, if you can in game make it work to your advantage to her. So if you can find a way to relate it to her, I will let it go and I will let it be successful.
In an empathetic way, like, I know you must be so tired after training for so long and that, like, that sort of vibe.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Okay. So, like, it is basically like appealing to the fact that she has trained so hard to get to this point. I can understand why she'd be so frustrated and so tired and so exhausted and wouldn't want to believe that something right in front of her is a possibility because she trained to be there. Like, she should be in his place doing better things for the world than what he's doing. And she just doesn't want to give up what she has. And I get that because I want to stay up through the night to be able to keep working on things, and I want to make sure that I'm always, moving forward. And that's why I trained my body to not need sustenance. So as a human who does have exhaustion, I know that's gotta be hard to come to terms with.
Okay. Mackenzie, after you say that to her, the tears kind of just start like coming down her face. It's like it's a quiet cry, right? Like we've all been there. We're sad, we're mad, we're frustrated, and it's just like words are failing. We're confused, and Mackenzie looks at you, Rue, and is like, I really appreciate that. I have worked so hard to be here. And,
Deserve to be here
she
under
kind of
someone
says,
that doesn't make you question anything.
she says, the Citadel, Verona was not my first choice. But they assured me that Dr. Graves was fantastic, and um,
Is he?
you say these things to me, and you say things like, has he had any other assistants before me? And the answer is yes. He's actually had quite a few.
More than the normal amount for an architect?
I don't really feel like it would be fair for me to say as a professional. However, I will say there was one before me, and she was actually like, I mean, what I would say an up and coming, like next level architect assistant, right? So she's an architect who's a little bit younger in years, and her name was Gianna Russo. And, you know, I, I mean, and she kind of looks up, and as she does, she kind of like looks towards like the makeshift wall, right? Of like like the wall of Verona, because there's a lot of bad things out there, and this is how the Citadel has decided we protect ourselves, is to build a wall up to keep outsiders out and the insiders in. And she looks over, and it's not necessarily on the wall, but about 2 doors down, you see a poster, and it says Gianna Russo. And she says, Gianna, like, Gio was like somebody I knew from Florence, and I came because she only spoke so highly of Dr. Graves. Like, and she was here for only a month. Like, a month. That is only the amount of time that she was here. But in that time, we had correspondence, and she was like, Dr. Nigel Graves is fantastic. The work he's doing is amazing. And, he is like highly respected. And this place, it's not hard. It's like, you're not under the thumb of the Citadel all day, every day. But you still report to the Citadel. So I thought, okay, this is going to be great. This is going to be a chance for me to like I've had techniques that I've been thinking of. And she kind of like gives a little like chuckle because like it's not a like a ha ha chuckle. It's a like a oh no like and and she is like your friend in there and she's referring to Mary and she's like I have things that I have been trying myself to further the expansion of tanning and architects and what we can do. And you see that like she kind of like she'll pause and she says, I don't know what to make up of all of this. I had never seen that book. I had never had any inkling that there was something nefarious going on at all.
Okay. Well, so a lot of stuff was thrown around in there. A lot of talk, a lot of accusations. After taking a second to think about it, if Gianna is she'll kind of like look towards the missing sign and back wherever Gianna is. Do you think that's something that your boss is capable of? Because if we have the wrong guy, we have the wrong guy. And we'll keep searching, but if you have so many things you're working on, I'd hate to see all of your progress get lost. Because of a guy that might have... Again, she kind of just vaguely looks back at the poster and trails off.
And she just takes this like she just like lets this huge exhale out. Like it's the first time in like the last 10 minutes I think anyone has seen her chest maybe relax a little and she's like, I'm not sure if he's being truthful. I don't know what he's capable of. I haven't been here very long. I would hate to lose not only my position, but my reputation within the Citadel. Um, and she looks at you, Rue, and she goes, if you can trust me just enough, I would like to reach out to the Citadel. It's getting late. Um, I need to call Florence. I need to call some people I know.
I trust you. More than I trust your boss. But I want to make sure that you are not around for what might be happening in there right now. I don't want to know, and I think that would be good. Call the Citadel. Also, Tove and Mary are architects. I know right now you're seeing them in a little bit of a different light, but if something like this were to come to light, I'm sure we'd be able to get you relocated to an equal position. Put in a good word for you. Having something like this happen isn't any reason to demote you. So I trust you. Is there like any way to contact her, I guess?
Not typically, like locally, probably not as much. I mean, I would say probably like to some degrees, like walkie-talkies still exist, but it's, they are relics of the past, so they are probably just as few and far between, which is something that you're very aware of as a
Yeah, that's probably what
technosifter.
that's probably like what I
And
specialize in.
yeah, and she she looks at you and kind of she grabs your hand and is like, "Thank you for trusting me. I'm going to talk to Mayor Good."
She like so I wasn't lying when I said my character is not really good with empathy. Like usually I was planning on having her be the tough guy, but like literally seeing the situation where like literally could be potential victim in room with abuser, I was like, okay, separate. So now I'm having that like little soft spot. So I like kind of awkwardly wait a second and then I just kind of like squeeze her hand back and just say, keep safe. And try to find us if you need anything.
She's like, "I will do." And um, with that, Mackenzie leaves. Um, Rue, I will assume you go back inside.
Come back into.
And while you were out there dealing with and talking with Mackenzie, Dr. Nigel Graves was incapacitated for, see, I said at that time, no issue, uh, for 3 minutes. I timed it. 3 minutes is up. But during that 3 minutes, what happened?
I tied him up
Okay.
in a chair.
Also, we need proof. Like, yes, we have the book and his handwriting. Oh, oh, I'm not still muted.
No, you're
But
good.
wherever, like, this is not the kind of illustration you're doing in your office. So we need to figure out where the body parts are. To be fair, for more proof. Otherwise, I'm just gonna grab my field kit and start pulling him apart and like seeing, what do testes look like? Because that's obviously what this book's about. Like, there's a shocking lack of male anatomy in here.
With that threat, I'm gonna request where his logs are of like what he sent to the Citadel, and then like where his personal journal is beyond this.
Beyond the medical one, okay.
Yeah, and then like I assume he would also be in charge of like life, like keeping track of any babies born, anybody who died, and like where would those records be so I can like cross reference it with people who are missing. And it's like,
Okay.
why do you think the Citadel is going to accept that you let? I can't
Okay.
remember the number. Under 10, over 5 people missing.
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Oh God.
It was in the double digits.
Oh, was
which
it?
is
Okay.
which
Yeah.
is why we were sent out. And the
My
fact
bad.
that as
Because,
we came
like,
in, there were all the paintings, there's all the
Yeah, I
missing
couldn't
because
remember
the
how many
posters.
they
community the
were.
community was getting real pissed about
Yeah.
this. They're like,
Yeah.
we are not
Like,
safe. Do
yeah,
something.
I'm table talk. Mary is about 2 seconds from taking her scalpel and just sticking it in his neck and, making a new automaton. I'm not
yeah,
even.
I'm basically
just,
using you as my weapons. Like you are
like,
gonna
I'm
do the
about
thing
to.
unless he gives me the thing that I want, which are records.
Okay, so
More
I will
proof.
give you two options, Kelly. You can have Tove either search physically
Okay.
herself, or you can wait until after those 3 minutes are up and you can ask Dr. Graves.
Ooh. He can't
As
tell
long
me
as
during
Mary
the 3
doesn't-
minutes, so I will search and then wait
Okay.
for his ability to speak.
And just
Come
make
back.
sure Mary doesn't
Yeah,
Right.
tell
before
her.
that.
Hold on.
Like,
Yeah, I'll
actually,
spill.
actually, I'm gonna be holding it. I'm just gonna be like the sparky
standing
one
there.
hand, scalpel in the
Yeah.
other, just like, let's see what you look like on the inside.
I let her rail off those like. I mean, I don't interrupt you at all, Mary, in terms of like all those threats. I just let them happen, and I'm gonna be like off in the back
Oh, and he's
looking for
passed
these
out.
things.
He's passed out. I'm just like,
Oh,
just
is he
wait till
passed
you
out? I
wake
thought
up.
he just couldn't talk. He's. I think Holly said that.
Oh
he
yeah,
was
that's right. He's
passed out.
not passed out, is he?
Yeah, yeah. So he can hear all these horrible things you're saying.
Good. Just like,
Can I also
do you
help
bleed
search?
red?
But I don't know what I'm looking for, so I just, like, video game is anything glowing to tell me that this is what I'm
Love
looking
that.
for.
All right, so I'm actually both gonna have you guys make some checks. So you can both do. I will give you actually the option. I will allow you to either do reasoning or perception.
Perception it is.
Oh, okay.
Do I get to roll intimidation?
Right? Not no.
So, please,
Scabby.
Holly, because I'm trying to remember. Please
Yes.
let me know. So it's a club. It's a club.
Mhm. That is a
Staff.
success. Yes, if
If
it's
we
a
have,
club, it's a success.
How many successes do we need?
You need because he can't really do anything or say anything to you. You're not really super distracted. You're pretty focused. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's gonna just be one success.
Okay.
for each.
Um, for you and for her. Yes, you were. I'm
Okay.
gonna. Yes, you can either do perception or reasoning, and you get to choose what you would like to do. They are both clubs.
I'm gonna do perception, but I've got. You
Okay.
see that?
Yes, I do. Okay. What do you do there, Viviana?
Okay, so I'm gonna do reason. I'm gonna feel it out. What looks important? Feeling out the glowy thing, and I have it's. This is a club. I'm trying to remember a club. This is a club. That's the other one's a spade. Okay, this is a club.
That's so funny. I was like, yes, it's a club.
My
All
little
right.
my makeup thing.
Yes. Okay. So you, um, we'll go with Toe first. All right, Toe. Um, where in his office would you like to look?
We
We've already
found.
checked the yes in the desk. You've looked
Yeah,
in
and
the
it was
desk.
like a false bottom or whatever, right?
Correct.
She's going to move the desk and stomp on the floor and basically look for like a plank that'll move, and so that there's like a little floor cubby.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, as you go through and you're like hitting the floor like boards, and you do the knock knock, and it like sounds a little different, a little different, a little different, just because of where it's at, the tension of the board, the nails, all of that stuff. Um, and you don't find anything on the floor. But what happens when as you're going through and you're kind of like, heel toeing it down, like all the way down, you're like making it right now. This is an office. Not only is there a desk, there is like a little, like what I would type, like coffee table type furnishing there, a chair, another chair. Like this is, we hold meetings here. We talk about, theories, and
Is there a bookcase?
there is.
Check
And
behind the bookcase.
and as you make your way through the floor and you're checking for different, you get to the bookcase, and it's not necessarily that it's hollow. It's not hollow. It's solid. In fact, there's like hardly any reverberation at all.
When I try and touch
And
the
as
bookcase.
and as you so as you look at it, you're like, there's not even that many books on the bookcase. Like it's full. It's just not packed full. Like what like for the density that you would hear from that knock, right?
Mhm.
And you're you you move towards the bookcase, and as you realize, you're like, man, it's not very full. And you kind of just like start, pushing over some books, and like you're not like wrecking the place unless you'd like to, uh, but you're kind of just pushing through. You're not necessarily thumbing through each book, but you are pushing over each book. Okay. And
Mhm.
when you do this, you finally get to that last, and it's on the bottom, the last shelf, and it is a very large book, like bigger than this journal that you guys are holding. Like this is a medical journal, and then on this one is like, I don't, I'm about to age myself, but if you've ever seen like what the letter A encyclopedia looks like, it is massive. And like this is not necessarily just thick, it's also fairly large. And when you go to push it over, you realize that it's like on its side. It wasn't on the book binding, but it was on its side. And as you do this, you kind of look and you're like, huh, that didn't fall right. And you go to pull it out. And when you pull it out, it's exceptionally heavy. Like you're struggling to like pull this. And you get it out, and when you do, it pops. You know, like when you like pull a cover, like a book out, and the book kind of like moves on you, and the spine kind of goes a little wobbly. That's what this is. This book might be heavy, but it has been opened and shut so many times that
Hmm.
that spine is like, I won't say falling apart, but it's about there. And when you do this, another set of keys. And these aren't just like normal keys. These are like wrought iron, heavy keys.
Like dungeon keys.
And when they hit the ground, because you're pulling it and you're moving and you're like, oh my gosh, and the instability of the book, these keys hit the ground, and it is like, you know, when you I don't know if you've ever seen like garbage can lids like boom, right? Like, I mean, it's loud. It's that loud, and it like thuds on the ground, and Dr. Graves like looks over at it. He seems pretty unfazed by it.
Were the keys like in the book, or were they behind the book?
They were in the spine of the book.
Oh, okay. So aside from the keys clanging, is the book unextraordinary?
It is. There's
Okay.
nothing fancy about it.
Okay. Um, look around for a lock.
All right. And Viviana, where are you looking? This all happened simultaneously, by the way.
I think with using reasoning in Viviana's head, it's literally, if I was gonna hide some sketchy shit, where would I put it in this room? So really just maybe like the most unusual of places, like if there's anything that looks a little like out of place, um a little any sus vibes, um kind of more like that, cuz yeah, this is sketchy dude. He's gonna hide some shit in sketchy ways.
Sketchy ways. All right. Um, you you realize and see that Tove has made her way like through the room, checking the floors, and this is all happening while you're looking. And you don't really, like you said, you don't really know what you're looking for. You just know that you're looking for something. We all know, you guys have all decided we needed, more uh, incriminating information. We need a way to make this not just happenstance and hearsay. We, um, we, as you go to, and you're kind of walking around and you're just like surveying the room, right? Like keeping your head on a swivel like a good soldier would. And you are looking around and you're like, something, and you're like, we've got to find something. We've got to find something. And you keep walking and you see, the coffee table furniture. And uh, you just kind of, there's books, there's like, posted papers, there's just a lot of stuff everywhere, specifically only on this coffee table. Everything else kind of is like mostly put back. That between the desk and the coffee table, everything else looks pretty nice. But there are papers everywhere on these two things. And when this happens, you start just kind of thumbing through. Like you're like, I don't know what I'm looking for. I gotta find it. Don't know what I'm looking for. This ain't it. Like you're just going through, and um, you get there, and you stumble upon what I would consider to be opened envelopes with postage paid. Um, and you open it up, and it almost as if like these letters, like the envelopes themselves, are much older than the letters on the inside. And when you look at the letters, you like the envelope of the letters, you see that it's like, I don't know, it is a frivolous name. It's like Dr. So and so, you know, is like the return address, and the actual address to is Dr. Nigel Graves, da 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 da, Verona, Italy. Like, and, it looks like an average letter. And and essentially the envelope itself is just an envelope with that. But this envelope is old. And inside, um, I'm assuming you're going to open it, yes?
Yes.
All of
I
it.
totally. Totally.
And you open it and you pull it out, and it's like 5 or 6 pages, but they're not all the same letter. And as you're kind of thumbing through and you read the first one, and it's like, you know, Dear Nigel, there's a letter. And then you go to the next one, is like, Dear Nigel, dear Nigel, dear Nigel. And as you like go through and you're reading all of these, essentially what you end up reading are 5 letters from Dr. Graves' previous assistant, Gia. Um, and at first, I would say the first 2 letters are very idealistic. They're very sciency, mathematics. It's like talking theories. You know, dear Nigel, I'm writing you da da da. Because I am have thought this, blah 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 blah. And
Are they
then
trying to impress a little bit?
not just that, it's you get the feeling that they're like looking for an in, right?
Um.
Hey, I have good ideas too. Let's talk about them. Blah blah
Gotcha.
blah, right? Um, and as you keep going, where you get about 4 letters in, and they're quick reads. It's not anything extensive. This fourth one is now just um, less science and more what I would say passionate, and not
Mm.
in the trade way. Like
That's the original sext.
I was like, did I just find some fanfic smut in letter form? Great.
Yes.
Nice.
No. But
Nice.
and by that 6th letter, it's, hey, um I'm very excited to come work for you and work with you. I can't wait to put these ideas to paper. And also, you're really hot. I mean, that's just paraphrasing. Like, Dr. Nigel Graves is a very good looking man. Like, he is. And, that's part of his appeal. He is a good looking man. He's not only smart and successful, he's good looking. He seems to have it all.
Gotcha. Um, I think Viviana will like finish that last letter and kind of do like the slow look at him, uh, and then kind of wrap it back up and go, "Hey Doc, nice table." And she's gonna take her like soup just for funsies, because I have this suit and I want to use it. She's gonna take like her big armored leg of the suit and just punch it like through the table just to like break it, and then is gonna say, "So looks like our doctor had some other funny business practices over here. We'll
Oh.
we'll hand it over.
She clings over, like comes over clanking with the keys. Takes it. Reads it. I assume this time he starts to wake up.
All right. Yes. So that was the 3 minutes as Mary sat there brandishing her scalpel.
Just like, I can do things without killing him, and then he won't be so pretty.
And so
If he's getting away with things because he's pretty, I might do something about it.
Oh, not over here.
and so when during that 3 minutes that Dr. Groves cannot speak, he is a phasic. The 3 minutes is up. And the whole time you guys are doing this, he is trying to mouth the words to you, but like there's nothing really coming out. Like it's when someone loses their voice and they can't even make a sound and all you hear is the air they're pushing through. That is what's happening here. Like he is trying to form the words and he cannot. 3 minutes go by and it's him clearing his throat and uh, he says, I could sit here all day and tell you how it isn't me. And he kind of looks at Hope and is like, I'm real glad that you found my extra set of keys. Excellent deduction work there, Sherlock. And he this time, Mary, despite your ability to brandish your scalpel, and despite Viviana's ability to tie him up, his hands are free. And he reaches into his pocket. And when he does this, it looks similar to what I would say a glass vial that looks kind of like a pen. Like, you know how mechanical pen, like we have our tops,
Mhm.
right? It looks something like that. And when he does this, he says, I'll happily take you to my lab. And he kind of clicks the top. And that's where we're gonna take a break.
Oh!
My sailor's knots. No. What
I should
happened?
have stabbed him in the
Two
neck when I
villain
had the
points. I have
chance.
2 villain points. Sorry, guys. I'm
Hey,
using
that's
them.
fair. That's fair.
Your villains are sassy, Holly.
He is sassy.
I should have stabbed him in the neck when I had the chance.
Mary's like,
broke
why
his-
didn't I maim him?
Mhm.
And welcome back. All right before the break. Our lovely group of ladies had let Mackenzie go. They had essentially incapacitated uh, Dr. Nigel Graves. And right before the break, his hands were free after being tied up. And he was holding essentially what looked like a glass vial with a what I would call a mechanical press and spring. And he clicked it. Well, when he clicked it, um, he dropped it. When he dropped it, a strange gas started filling the room.
Ah, fuck.
And as he says, I do hate to cut our visit short. Um, but time is of the essence. And the reality is, most people are beneath me, especially the fairer gender. And with that, he then doesn't really do anything necessarily, except for he looks at Mary and he looks at Tove and he just like makes like eye contact for way too long. Like this room is filling up with gas and you guys not necessarily paralyzed by this gas, but you do find you're having a hard time really like moving. You're feeling a little groggy. You're not knocked out. You're just like slow on the draw. You're not really able to like think straight. You're not really sure what's going on. But before this really takes hold of you, he looks at both of you and definitely makes sure that he makes eye contact with you. And like I said, it's just a little too long. It makes everyone uncomfortable. And he
Gross.
just, right, he just opens the door and
Opens which door?
the door that I assume, are you standing in front of it, my friend?
I was gonna say, is it the door that I would probably be coming back in to see how everything's going inside?
Yes, that's fine. And as he goes to reach for the door, in pops in Rue as he goes to grab it, and it's almost like, oh well, this worked out, right? He grabs Rue by her hair.
Does
He does.
I have so many things. Let me grab them.
And at this point, he just pulls you in. He does not even care what you are reaching for or what you are doing. And he's not trying to hurt you, he's trying to get you out of his way. He grabs you. And I mean, like, full on handful to the scalp, pulls you, and just throws you down. And as
Can I ragdoll?
you can't. I mean, you can. That's I love that that's your defense. What do you
I
do?
wanna
Nothing.
I wanna just ragdoll and like have my like wrap my arms around him somehow too, so I'm just dead weight like clinging onto him.
Okay, I will let you do it.
My character
Only
was supposed
because
to be
like
serious, I
cinematically
promise.
this is so terrible. Like all right.
Murder him.
So you grab, but as this happens, he feels like you kind of latching on and dead waiting. He closes the door with you and him and everybody in the room still. And
Is
as
he still
you
carrying?
like you kind of look up at him and you kind of like look around in the room and you see your friends are not really doing anything and they don't look like they're able to really do anything. And that is when it kind of hits you. You're also now pretty confused. You're not really sure what's going on. You feel very tired. You're like, I'm dead weight. I feel fine. And when he sees like this look on your face kind of like shift from like not I won't say panic, but like calculated, like, okay, I'm going to use what I know to my advantage, and to almost like bewilderment on your face. He grabs you and he takes his finger and holds your chin up, and with the outline of his other hand, so he's holding you like this, has your chin, and is like, it's such a shame. And he throws you to the ground, pulls the door open, and leaves.
Okay, question.
Yes.
I have resistance. That'd be like
Hmm.
resistance. Could I use that? Would that mechanic work for like resisting this
So,
gas?
yes. So what I am going to have it do is I will I will let you I'm going to let you like play to resist the lasting effects of this. Unfortunately, the initial ones, that's my second villain point. So
Oh.
and so but yes, I will let you. In fact, if anyone would like to try to resist, I will I'll give you the option to do so. Um like the lasting effects of what's happening here. However, um he still exits.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh
I want to try and resist so that I can. I assume while I was going down, maybe I would be looking around for a window. And what I want to do is basically resist the lasting effects and like smash the window to like air the place out.
okay. All right. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play this out first and then I will give you an opportunity to do that. What's going to happen is during this time, nobody is like completely resistant to this. This feels almost like that feeling when you're sick and you are like, I just don't feel great. I don't feel 100. I'm tired. And my head still feels like it's in the stratosphere a little bit. And I'm, you don't really, I don't know if you've ever been under twilight anesthesia. It feels very similar to that. Twilight anesthesia is where you are awake, but you don't feel anything. And that is what this is. And you kind of, I mean, not kind of, you all lose your ability to really like do anything, to stand, hold your head up. I don't know if I know a couple of you have had children. If you've had an epidural, this is very much the same feeling in your legs, but think your whole body. And you can't move. And as this is happening, Tove, you know what this is. You're a doctor, for goodness sakes. Like, you know what this is. And you feel it because this is not just, this is like what I would consider a nerve gas, right? So in the medical world, if you hit a nerve with like lidocaine, right? It's instant. This is not that. This is not instant. This is because you keep breathing the air. You realize that this is happening. You're like, I know what's happening. If this keeps going, we're not going to be able to do anything until this room clears. And so I'm now going to also have you make an athletics check with a difficulty of a 2. So I need 2 successes to be able to break this window.
That's a hard book. I only have one
Hard.
success possible.
You can still get a partial success.
Okay.
So there's ways that it can be done. So you still have, so if you're gonna play, you got to play both cards. So even if you fail, you still have to play your cards.
Oh, I do.
Mhm.
Oh, so what would I? Okay, well I can
You have to
only.
pick what you throw away.
Okay, so my athletics I can only do one card though.
It's 2 successes, so you get to play 2 cards.
Oh.
So if you're not
Gotcha. Okay.
since you're not trained in it, if you were trained
Yeah.
in it, you'd be able to play 4 cards to equal 8 or whatever.
Oh.
But yes.
Oh. Okay. Well, all right. I'll pick one to toss. I'm gonna throw away one of these, but that's what I'm gonna do for my success.
Okay. All right. So as you realize what's happening, Tove, you're like, man, this ain't it. And you feel like it's it's almost like when they give you like IV medication, you kind of get a little warm. You're like, oh God, it's happening and it's happening so fast. Like, and you just, as you are falling, you're like, no, this is not it. This is not how we're going to end things. And you start throwing things, okay? And I mean everything you can get your hand on as you are falling to the ground. And as you look up and you see Rue getting tossed by her hair into the room, and like you're like, oh God, right?
So,
And as you do
funny
this,
little side realization, my character has a shaved head. I know we're not changing
oh
the
my God,
story,
I
but
forgot. You're right. Oh, that's
It's fine.
okay.
It's fine. Blair
You
said that
have a
he
hood
has
though, don't you?
monster. Yeah, and Blair said he had monster hands. Just grabbed my entire head and just
Monster.
scruffed
Like,
me like a
"Ugh."
cat. Just
You should have said something. No, that's
I
fine.
didn't
I
think
can
about
totally
it until
change it
now. No,
cinematically. Like
I
this is
literally didn't
fine.
think about it until now.
That's so great. I forgot you were. You were
Me too.
well, that's what happens when 4 months go by. All right.
I'm pretty sure I forgot 4 months ago too. I think I said I had like a bobby pin
Oh
or
yeah,
something, and then
you
I
did.
was
You
Oh
said you bought me
yeah.
pig. Yes.
Can we just
Good.
retcon that you have like one of those like the Padawan braids? You just have like a
yeah,
little braid. You just
Little
yeah.
grab
And he
Jedi
told me by
braid.
that, and
You
that
have a
really
little
hurts.
magnet. You have a little magnet in your skull. That's where the bobby
Like,
pin was.
dink.
yeah.
Yes. All right. But okay. So he grabs you. We'll say by the scruff of your clothing, and still holds your head up and does all the same things, but throws you in. But you see him throw Rue like literally a ragdoll because she ragdolled herself, and and
Down.
you are right, and you're throwing things, and you stumble over to his desk, and you just like straight up just shove anything in that direction as you're making your way down. And when you do, what happens is when you go to like toss that whole desk, a book, and it is a small book, it's not much, and honestly it doesn't even look really important, it looks like so bad, it cracks the window and you fall to the ground. And that's the last thing you remember, Viviana. Um, you see him click that button. You see him throw your colleague, and you are like, no. But you also feel not only the weight of the anesthesia hitting you, you feel kind of like the weight of your inferiority hitting you. You're not necessarily sure why in this moment this is what you're choosing to think of. We don't always control our brains and what they and what they remind us of in the worst moments. And that's all you remember. You remember feeling helpless seeing this happen. You see Tove throwing her body and her weight to the best of her ability, and you're all coughing, but not you. You're just, it's that moment where you fall to your knees, you're looking around knowing you're supposed to be doing something, and you cannot. And that's all you remember. Mary, as soon as you hear that pin click, you immediately are like, man, I should have stabbed him while I had the chance. And you see Rue get thrown. You see Viviana, who is this Technophant soldier, the best of the best, falling to her knees, doing nothing. And you see your fellow architect desperately realizing what's happening to all of you and trying to make it so that it is not hurtful to you long term. And you just kind of hold your hand out and it starts kind of like sparking, and it's almost like you see what's happening around you, but you don't care. And for that split second, you are you are happy to be there, and you are not sad, you are not anything.
Zap zap.
Yep.
That's what I
And
get.
you kind of like cradle your hands up and you like see it and there's a little bit and next thing you know you're like falling over and as you go over all you remember is how you feel nothing and that you don't hate it.
That's a first in a while for Mary.
And, um
I still want to stab him. I don't feel nothing, but I still want to stab
I
him.
mean, originally, yeah, that's your first thing, and you go over. So you're out. Rue, when he grabbed you and held your chin up,
I wanted to spit on him.
right, the anger you felt was unbridled. Like it was full rage. Like, and you are somebody who typically is like happy working on their own. In fact, you love working so much and discovering things. It's kind of hard for you to feel anger like that when you're doing something you love. But this wells something inside of you, almost kind of that had been dammed up and now it's like free flowing. Like there's no stopping this and and it's almost like not that you have a sense of completeness, but it is that sense of I am so much more than what I do and how I feel can can also drive me. You're so consumed with work that that is like the one thing that you are just like, okay. And and that is the last thing that you remember is like you felt that rage, but on top of that, you felt like it was okay to like feel that rage. And it goes black for you as well.
No, the angsty character that I made is having feelings.
No. All right. And so you guys come to and it is like pitch black outside. When this happened, the sun was setting and um you y'all wake up about the same time. I will let you guys kind of choose how that works out, narratively, however you guys would like. But when you come to, you are groggy. It's not that you can't form sentences or thoughts and you don't know, like, it's not that you forget things. That's not it. You are just having a hard time putting every piece in place right now. You still like you have the whole puzzle. You have every piece and you have the whole puzzle. But like being able to look at the edges of a puzzle and putting it where it needs to go, none of you can quite do that yet. But you are coming out of it. Now, I'm going to have everybody do a resistance play. It's for one success. I just need one. This is for the long term effects of what just happened to all of you. So, resistance is in steel, which is diamonds.
And if we're trained,
You can
what
play
is it?
two. You can still have two successes, even if I'm asking for one.
So I have this energizing tonic. Can I just use that whenever? That lets me draw two cards. Okay, sweet.
Yes, you can use that anytime you would like.
Okay, I'm gonna use that now.
Okay.
Super didn't help. Awesome. Awesome.
Is there a number to match if we can't?
So yeah, you have to, so you can do a suit match, okay? So that would be diamonds, or you can get to 8. If you can do an 8 of clubs, an 8 of spades, an 8 of hearts, it will still work. However, if you can do an 8 of diamonds, that's a double success.
Got nothing.
I'm gonna fail this bitch.
All right, you guys still have to make the play, so show me your
Oh.
cards.
Oh, sure.
Are we gonna
Can
do
I do a
another?
7 and an ace and have it be 8 together?
If you are trained in it.
Yes, actually, I think I am in
So
resistance.
if you are, which would make sense for your
Yeah.
character. So if you can, all right,
Yay! Do you,
Lonnie.
if you're trained, do you have to give up 2 cards?
No, you just can.
Oh, okay. Well then, I'm just gonna do 1 because I not fucking failed it.
Are
Feels
we
bad.
Are we gonna do the breath soon or so? Like, because I'm just looking at how many cards I have, and
Okay, so what we can do here, it has to make sense narratively to catch to what we say. In the beginning, you take a breath, right? Because we're
Mm.
getting ready to start. In the middle of the game, if you are needing more cards, it's called catch your breath. And
mm,
so it has to narratively make sense for you to catch your breath.
okay,
So yes, we can do that.
Maybe after we wake up, before we go after
But it's
Dr.
going to be
Graves.
after this roll or
Yeah.
this play, this
cool.
success.
Then I'm going to. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna double success.
He said.
Ooh.
Okay, great. How many was that? Was that 7 or 8, girl?
For me,
Yep.
but it was 2 diamonds.
Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry, that was my
Right.
bad. It went
Sorry,
really quick.
my makeup technique wasn't good enough. There we go.
My makeup
My
technique. So
my
could
my
you?
makeup guru technique was
This
not
is
good
the
enough.
product.
This
Yes.
is
All
it.
right. Good job. Okay. Um, Mary. Okay. Okay.
I'm the
You're
only one
muted.
that's hosed.
Yeah, you're muted by the way, Kuda. Um,
Oh,
but
sorry.
you're okay. Don't no stress.
I have this.
Okay, good deal.
That's
Hey,
good.
you know a diamond is a diamond is a diamond. Um, so okay then. Uh, Tove.
Womp.
Womp womp. um, so we'll do Rue, Mary, and Viviana. It's still, I mean, it's sedation. So, any type of anesthesia of any type, it takes a minute to wear off. However, eventually you are all able to kind of shrug this off. Um, and at first things are a bit unclear, a little foggy, but things over time become clearer to you, and you're like, oh god, that's what we were doing. Like, oh my gosh, this is like the merry-go-round ride from hell, and it just never ends. And and you're like, okay, okay, okay. And you guys, so now to Kelly. Tove, remind me, um, your character, if I am correct, and if I'm incorrect or there needs to be something added, please do so. Your character is an architect that is kind of built on investors. Is this correct?
Yeah, like well connected.
Mm-hmm.
With
And
yeah.
and your solution as an architect is not to invest, not necessarily not invest, but to not put everything into the creation of constructs and, using your body after you're dead, but to instead prolong
Yeah.
everyone's life.
Yep.
Definitely. So we're looking for the fountain of youth here.
Yeah, but
And
only for the rich people.
yeah, of course. And and uh you okay. So this is a persistent effect, okay? This means that until something changes or you find a way to change it, it does not change. Um, you are unable at this point to fully remember why you're doing what you're doing. You know you're doing it. You know that you're an architect. You know you're good at your job. You know that other people are counting on you. It's who you
So
don't.
I don't know why I'm like here in this town.
No, you know this thing. These are the things that you
Oh,
are.
okay.
Yes, you
But
know
I
the
don't know my why for my career.
correct
Oh,
for
okay.
your character. The why in which you are doing this is gone, and you can play this out however you would like as a player, are consumed with trying to figure out.
Mm, okay.
So you're able to come to, you're able to talk, you're able to be a part of this, you're able to remember what happened right before you went down. You are able
Mhm.
to remember who Dr. Graves was and how freaking horrible he is, all of these
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
But you, as a character, your consequence as this prolonged exposure to this anesthesia is there's like a little piece of you that's missing, and you are consumed with kind of figuring it out.
Okay.
It doesn't become obsessive unless you want to play it that way, but it's not necessarily something that you have to obsess over, but it will come back. I want to let you know that now. So,
Okay.
um, all right, so you guys all come too. What do you do?
So Tove, who was once very confident because she could just name drop and that was the source of a lot of her like ladder climbing, is suddenly a little insecure, a little bit of imposter syndrome, and does not like this feeling. And so, yeah, what was this sort of cocky architect is now a little like insecure, sort of like an intern level feeling.
Awkward.
Welcome to my world.
Oh, is this what it's like?
Yes.
So here's a thought. We find graves and we take them apart for pieces.
I
Let's go
don't,
find them and take them apart for pieces.
but like, I feel like we would get in trouble for that.
No, no.
Okay.
He's better as parts because he's completely abused his oath. He's doing all sorts of horrible things.
I
He's,
mean,
you kind of need certain parts of a female anatomy to even have more people show up. So one less of him, we have more parts for automatons. And we
that
can,
is a good point.
and then less of the murder. The murder that has been happening here that's now reached at least double digits will stop.
Okay.
So we
We
find
should.
him and take him apart for pieces.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
Good, because then I get to
Um,
stab him.
There's a moment where Rue just like sits up almost kind of like a little bit abruptly. Like I feel like she's still sitting on the floor and then all of a sudden she like pulls herself up and she's like, we need to make sure Mackenzie's okay.
Oh yeah, like how did that even go? Like, do you want to fill us in on your conversation? Because we haven't even like.
That's right. That's right. I came back and all of us were on the floor. Um
Dark.
she doesn't know for sure, but I think it's one of those things where she has that feeling where once I kind of got her separated from him, um she has a friend named Gianna that used to work for him and she was only there for a month and now
Ooh,
there's missing posters.
Blair.
So I
Yeah,
told her
that was
to yeah.
yeah. Did did I get anything? Just to know, is there anything since I'd had two successes? Anything different about?
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you for reminding me. Sorry about that.
no worries.
Um, so actually, okay, so you come to, right? In fact, I think you come to just like really fast, like way
Mhm.
faster than you probably should have. I'm just gonna assume it's because you're in like really great shape, and 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 you are in fact you are able to at this point after have read like reading the letters, when you went down, you not only were you able to at this point shrug off that feeling that you'd had before going down, you actually like woke up feeling a little more confident in yourself, something that you hadn't really um, felt before.
Trading spaces.
And so I'm actually going to allow you, right, trading safe. I'm going to
Mhm.
actually allow you to go ahead. And at this point, if you guys want, while you're trying to piece this puzzle together, um, I am going to allow you all to catch your breath. And what this means is you get 5 minutes of rest. Um, it allows you to discard a single card out of your hand. So if you don't have any cards, you go ahead and still take the breath anyways. But if you do, you discard one card and then you draw until your hand is refilled. And Blair, yeah, and Blair, because you you healed so quickly and you recovered so well, I'm gonna allow you to have an extra card in your hand.
Okay. So I have to
Ooh.
discard the one card left because I only have one card left.
Okay, is it a good card? Is that why you don't want to get rid of it?
Yeah.
Is it your Joker, your face card, or anything like?
Yeah.
Okay, your Joker can go in front of you, and it is always yours. I'll trade you that.
Mine.
Okay.
Okay. That works for me. Um, I think. Oh, so we draw back up to
You draw
six.
back up. Yep.
Okay.
Or
Um,
in Kelly's case, it would be 7.
I think kind of like if Viviana comes back to like just a tad bit like quicker, I think it's kind of one of those it's as if like there's like a chunk missing. So like maybe like she wasn't able to do anything whenever the gas came off, but then coming to it was as if like have you ever seen that video of there's like a dog that's in a dream and it's like running, but then it like
Whole
gets up
body is
and
like doing something. Yeah.
right, like the whole body's doing something and then the dog like kind of wakes up and like keeps running and hits a wall. Kind of I think she does kind of like that as if it was like whenever she was on her knees she was like trying to will herself to like do something so hard and it just didn't happen. So now like coming back to it kicks in and I think she's gonna like not well um go to the door, realize it's nighttime, kind of have like a really frustrated like ah! And like hit like the side which maybe helps y'all like jolt awake and then in when retconning whenever that conversation's just happening and Gianna, right? Is that
Yeah.
who?
Gia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Gia.
It's the
Whenever
same.
okay, whenever she hears that she'll like still kind of like pissed off but focused will go over and pick up those letters and take it to Rue and say, I think there was something else that, like, there was definitely something else going on here. And will, like, pass it. And then is just kind of like pacing, listening, but also trying to, like, brainstorm of, like, okay, what are we doing next? She's in, like, go mode. So,
Nice.
but yeah.
I start reading through the letters, and you'll, like, after certain points, you'll hear me say, like, comments like, oh, this is deeper than I realized. These women were just whatever he was writing to them. I don't want to see what he wrote to them in the other end, but oh, they trusted him so much. And she just looks sad for like the first time ever. Like, instead of like her just looking like focused or like agitated or whatever, like she just looks sad. Um, and this is the girl that um Mackenzie had so many. It was Mackenzie, right? Okay. She's like, Mackenzie had so many good things to say about Gianna. She probably could have made it really far in the architects.
Well,
I mean, she
let's
still
go.
can, right?
Well, we don't know if she's alive, but
Okay.
we.
She's Schrodinger's architect. We can. She's not dead till she's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Dead.
Also, we can. Last Rue saw Mackenzie was still alive, and
Exactly.
like
Told her to go someplace safe, and she said she's gonna call some people. So
who? Her people? His people?
Unimportant. We should find her.
Yeah, because if she's calling people that she thinks she can trust because they're his people, that's not going to go good for her either.
she hasn't been here that long. I can't imagine she knows a lot of his people to contact, but I don't know where she went.
Well, let's find a lab filled with probably an obscene amount of body parts. And then
Did
I'll take the scalpel and we'll get some more body parts.
didn't
Yes.
Tove, didn't you find keys or something?
Yes.
Oh,
Did the
those
keys
are
go to
big.
here?
He like as Stowe holds them up. She makes it look really effortless, but her knuckles are white. These are heavy ass keys. She's like, I got him. Like,
It's the one thing she's confident in. Yes. All her strength. I mean, they look with keys these heavy, I imagine there's a lock equally heavy. I don't see an equally heavy lock mechanism in here. These
um,
look like maybe shackle chains, shackle keys.
um, you guys, once you all realize how late it is, I mean, and it's pretty late. There's not really anything going on. The hovels in which you guys had, some of you had visited earlier, um, where, you know, it was a little more lively. It felt a little more like community. Um, you had also seen some children. You all met a nanny
Nanny.
construct. Um,
Nanny was nice.
you guys,
Oh, Nanny was scary.
I didn't meet Nanny. I think
Nanny
I
was
was one of the.
terrifying. um, you, uh, you guys, where the square is, what we would call like the square of the town, right? Like the center of the town, is actually like it's dark. Besides the dimly lit, like flickering, like outside, like of the door lights, this part of town is just, it's literally a ghost town. There's nothing, but um, as Viviana goes to the door, I assume you will open it. But when you had stumbled to it and kind of like hit it, you know, and walked out and looked around, you kind of looked over, and there's still like it's not like here. Where those hovels are is like this glow, but it's like what you would see like if you were lived outside of a city or like a smaller town, and it just kind of had that like light haze above it, right? Like the light pollution that you would get from it. It looks like that. But when you sit there and you listen, you can hear, you know, people talking and some laughing, and despite it being pretty late, like it seems pretty normal, like this. Despite everything that has happened here today, that part of town still feels more real than where you're at right now.
Mm. Yeah, she'll definitely like like be looking at it kind of like confused, like, well, that is out of place. Um, she's gonna be like, should we go where the people are? That could be a good start.
Maybe they have an idea of where the lab is. So yes, let's go find lab, stab things. Yes.
Okay.
I am also on Team Stab.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I had a second scalpel, it'd be yours. And like I'm walking out the door. Like I'm like, we are going to find him and stab him.
I
Viviana's
need
just gonna,
Viviana to
like,
be
look
like, pat, pat. Like,
Yeah, she just, like, looks
Pat,
down
pat.
at her suit and is like, "Does this mean nothing? Okay."
And I'm like, oh no, I totally believe you're capable of hurting things too. And I'm gonna say like Mary doesn't even come up to your shoulder. Like you just look down at the
in
top
the
of her
suit,
head.
like, Viviana's massive. Like,
Yeah. And my citadel cape is like flying behind me as I like book out the door towards the noise. Let's go.
all
Murder.
right, you guys, you make your way in which I think it was like Marigold and Viviana went, correct? Is that it was just the two of you, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, and
We were,
you
like,
guys make your
chasing yeah. Sorry, I'm
yeah,
trying to I'm like, yeah,
you're
yeah.
good. You come again to where you're coming out of the central part of it where everything is pretty much dead besides the low like hum of the lights and stuff like that. And you still come to a split path. And to the right, just like before, is where these the hovels and that light is, and then to the left is it is not necessarily dimly lit. It's just not as lit as that because there are a lot of people over there. This is not Florence. Florence is everyone who works for the Citadel, which is pretty much everyone, is taken care of despite it being nothing to write home about. You are not living in luxury unless you are one of the rich people that Tove has an investor for. Like, unless you are high up, unless you are like, we're part of like groundbreaking science, everybody kind of meagerly gets along, meagerly gets by. Like, it is not anything. And this place is even below that. Like these people, and that was the thing last time, is like they don't have a lot, but they do have kids. And that is a rarity in itself. And they do have each other. I mean, and so as you look over there, you see that it nothing really looks out of the ordinary over there. Like it almost looks like these people are just used to people going missing, their friends and family never coming back, that they find the joy despite living in quite horrible conditions and honestly horrible circumstances.
Do we know how long Dr. Graves has been here, or like
So he
his
has been
predecessor?
right. So I will tell you, Mackenzie, let you all know that he has been an architect over 20 something years. He is the best of the best. He has been part of groundbreaking science. He has developed techniques with tanning. He has developed techniques for getting the most, using the most or getting the most out of a body to create a construct.
I was just wondering, like, if the missing persons is sort of like at this point generational, so the town is just used to it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, well,
Well,
another
Same thing
another
not
here.
person's
uncommon.
grandma.
Right. I would say this has so because you work for the Citadel and you are an architect, you know where Verona is, you know what they do. That this is supposed to be Florence's like next Florence, right? Like
Mm.
they're trying to get more people to move here. They're trying to get, another hub going and working and moving forward. And you would know this. You would also know that anything outside of Florence is kind of like Mad Max. Like it is like a free for all. The fact that
Mhm.
y'all got here safely really spells to how much time the Citadel is putting into making this viable. and
So these
they
missing people have not been like spread out over like
this
40
group
years. This is like
no.
probably 15 people over a
I
year or
yeah,
whatever.
I would say it's probably like yeah, I would say it's like 12, 13 people in the last 16 months. I mean, it is a
Okay.
lot. It is like
Yeah.
one person a month. People are like, they're not
Okay.
coming back.
So
Something's
this
wrong, which is why they were like, hey, this can't happen. Something's going wrong. You know, protests and vandalism and the things that were happening were, were in the minds of those who were protesting justified. They were tired of, for lack of better words, being cattle led to the slaughter because nobody was protecting them.
okay. Yeah, I was just
And
trying to make sure, like, I guess trying to assess how vulnerable this city is, and it sounds like this is way outside the ordinary, and he's drawing attention to himself.
and but yes, this is definitely something that is out of the ordinary in a town that is supplied by the Citadel. Murder does happen. Death does happen. People do go missing, but not at this rate.
Yes, but we get constructs if they die.
Correct.
You know, like we
If they're
don't, the bodies
missing,
don't
that
stay
sucks.
missing.
like, but you know, again, you do all know that in in Florence, you especially as architects, for Mary and Tove, you definitely know. Like, it is in your architect oath that it is to preserve life until you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So it is the Citadel is very clear on that line. Like, murder is like you are being absolutely prosecuted by militia. You are going to get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But yes.
Hmm.
So you guys are so there's a path to the right, and there is a path to the right which leads to the hovels, and then there's a path to the left that is like it's lit, and it is not dimly lit like the center of town is. It almost looks what we're gonna call the higher upper scaled version of like this is where the richer people live. There's nobody that's rich here besides probably Dr. Graves. So they but yes, this is where it's more like townhouse vibes and like carriages, and they might have a horse or two, or like a construct, a necro horse or two. Like, these are people who are a little more well to do.
Okay. Can I use so I have training and perception.
Okay.
And if I'm understanding correctly, that falls under spades, and I have to have at least a 7 for success.
8.
You had to have an 8 for success, and you said perception, it would be clubs.
Oh, okay,
It'd
never
be
mind.
16.
There goes that brilliant idea. Never mind. I retract that statement.
What are you looking for?
Trying to see if there's like a power source or lab or his house, because a crazy person like that is probably sleeping above the corpses, because that's what Benjamin Franklin used to do. I'm not even kidding. There's another random fact about a historical figure for you.
So we're seeing this like dim light off the side of the big, basically
Right.
the small. Okay.
Right. So you have like the small folks in poverty, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like a haze. It's lit, but it is
Mhm.
not electric lighting. Okay. This is
Gotcha.
like fires. These are candles. These are like what I would say a community area. Okay. That you
Yeah.
are seeing. And then to the left is more electricity. You're going to see like the things that people who are less impoverished would have access to.
To the
Okay.
left.
The place that would have electricity to run a lab.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, I would prefer, if I was doing work like this, I'd prefer to have electricity. I mean, not everybody has constructs built into their skin.
we looking for him or her first?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry, Mary's fixated on killing him. Well, not killing him, but turning him into
Mary's like
parts.
one-track mind.
Mary's
We
very
must
like,
find this
I want
man.
to like, this is now a construct. This is no
Make him
longer.
pay for his crimes against humanity.
I think if we find him, we'll know whether or not she's safe. So might as well go for him.
That's fair.
And
And if we
Rue
find
does-
her, I can offer her a position as an apprentice.
win-win.
Win-win,
So-
she'll get to move to Verona.
Right?
Rue does have goggles that allows her to see like electrical connections because it's supposed to kind
Ooh.
of help her pinpoint like where something's going. But if she could like put those on and kind of get a vibe of where they seem to be really concentrated as if they're trying to fuel an entire lab. Well, actually, wait. Do we not know where the lab is? Because weren't we supposed to like initially head there, and like we started following him and then we turned back?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a good point. Boss
So-
lady, what do you think?
Me?
Holly, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
you said
Holly,
boss
I
lady. I was like, what?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No,
Holly,
it's okay.
we were supposed to go to this. These are good points. Do we
We're
already know where
supposed-
the lab is?
You guys never made it to the lab, remember? Because the mayor had an assassination attempt on
Right,
him,
but
and so
we had an idea of
Started
where it
going
was.
in the direction, and then we like turned like I think he was like starting to lead us, and then I turned around because I was like I want to see what he was hiding back there, and you said that he just kept walking and just didn't even didn't even pay attention that we
did.
weren't behind him. So
Yeah.
like general vicinity at least can like help narrow down the search
yeah,
point, and then
absolutely.
cool.
You definitely know. You definitely. Oh, Rue, you got a hero point. So I
Aw.
will.
Cute.
Because so this is how I'll do this. So because it was for 2,000 bits, I will allow it to be a +2 to 1 success that you can do. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Turk. Bye. But all right. So you remember when he was starting to lead you to the lab, he definitely went to the left. He did not go to the right. He went to the left. And while you are unable to fully remember because you did stop and turn around and walk away, you do remember that he kept walking for a minute. Like you remember looking at him and seeing like, is he gonna turn around and even notice that we're not following him? And he sure as shit did not. Like he was like, I don't care. Like and he kept going, but it was for a while, and you could see him like down the way, like he was still walking.
Okay. So with that, would I be able to kind of look like so I know the general vicinity of where he was starting to walk. From there, I could use my goggles that allow me to see cable connections to see where the electricity for the lab would probably be going towards kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I am
Okay.
definitely to use it. I am gonna have you do a play for a success.
Would it be a gear by any chance?
Yes, because it is an equipment, right? Because you're in Technosopher, so it would be for you. Okay. Yes. Okay. Fine. No. I'm kidding.
Sorry.
It's
Listen, you
fine.
let us take a breath, and I took a breath, and also even if I didn't
And
have
now
it,
I'm amazing, is what I'm hearing. Okay.
No, but I do have a hero point for when this fails, so that's always a plus.
Excellent. 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 Okay.
Holly doesn't want me
Yeah.
to stab him.
I'm just making it hard for you to do it. That's all. All right. So then, as you see, Rue, why don't you go ahead and narrate what this looks like for you? Like,
It doesn't look much different than anything you've ever seen Rue do. She probably always has these goggles like either on top of her head or like maybe like wrapped around like it's like an elastic like headband
Yes,
at
I
least with
love
the
it.
actual goggles. So sometimes she might have it like wrapped around her arm for moments when her head gets grabbed by an evil dude, you know? So So you see her kind of just flick them down and actually just casually start walking in the direction of like where she knows that he started to walk. And she'll kind of be looking up and around and also down on the ground and kind of just doing a full sweep of the area until she can kind of pinpoint what seems like it would be power cables that would lead to like more than just a house, like a heavy duty, like there's gonna be cryogenic things probably in a lab that architects work in. Yes, yeah, that sounds
Depending on your
Yes.
specialty.
So,
okay.
you know, that is actually the whole thing, which even though you are very, like, you're very familiar with the Citadel, as far as like other jobs, it's not something you know, unless you have taken the time to know those things, you don't really know about all the details that encompass another job, right? But you do know for sure that there are going to be chemicals. There is going to be a need for electricity. There are going to be what I'll just we'll use this as a generic term, what I would consider tanning equipment. And if you know anything about like taxidermy or anything like that, you know, those kinds of things exist in this world. And as an architect, that is absolutely something that they use and do. Not only are they like the inventors of this like space, they're also technically like the kings and queens and themes of freaking like preservation as well. Like they will do all of the things. Like, you know, and that's kind of, you know that like the militia aren't just military and tactical, they're also like the freaking lawyers of the Citadel. like there you are, you know, a lot of jobs are like two in the same, right? So for you, not only are you like the what I will call really cool archaeologist. you you are, you know, you're also like the
Cynic.
fixers. Yeah, you guys like fix things and get them working and make them useful, and like, you know, you have a love for that, just like architects have a love for preservation, but on top of that, innovation. And so with that, you know that these things that you're looking for need a power source. Like you, I mean, you can't do every, you know, especially with him being the head architect of the area. It's not a big town. There's like at most 3 architects total in the whole town. It's not like the Citadel where it is like littered with, you don't walk and not see somebody in an apron, okay? Like you don't walk and not see somebody with goggles like yours, right? Like you these are things that are very commonplace in Florence. And you know, I'd say even right outside of Florence because of what you do, but uh I you look, and as you look up, you're scanning, and you know, you're kind of like focusing and refocusing and zooming in and out, and you're like, huh. And as you look, you see there's one main line that kind of drags through what I would consider the upper crust part of town. And there's like small like arches and cables going from place to place to place to place to house to house. I mean, even on the side of the hovels, there are some hovels that do have access to it. The cables do run to them and go to it, even to maybe the center of like where the hovels are. You see all of this. And as you see, you're looking down and it's like, I mean, it's not even a quarter of a mile. I mean, but you see at the end, mm, mostly because I don't know proper names for electricity things. So if I screw this up, please don't come for me, guys. But what I would consider more like a transformer, okay, or like a circuit board almost, but it's not exposed, right? And but you can see that it is like one big hub, and it kind of just shoots out like little lines just all down, and you notice that it's not like the other ones. This isn't a like one hub and another line that goes across. This is one hub, that has several lines like going down. And you deduce at this point with that this is likely where this lab is.
There will be a moment where, like, now that I've kind of pinpointed it a little bit, I'll, like, still have the goggles on, still be kind of, like, tracing things. Like, physically, like, it's funny because I'm wearing goggles, but I will be physically moving my head instead of just, like, sitting there, like, okay, up here, up here. I'll be like, okay. And you'll just kind of hear me mumble and hoping that one of the two architects here, this might be the place. Does it look right? Guys?
Do we see anything, or is it like
Or
underground?
smell anything? Because
There you
tanning
go.
stinks. Like big time. There's not a tanning factory on the planet that does not stink.
So,
Sorry.
that is actually the reason it's outside of the center of town. You don't really smell anything though right now, but you do see, once Rue pointed out, you're like, and it's hazy because it is dark. But once Rue is able to be like, hey, do you see that glimmer and this like shadow here? Follow it down. She's like, this is it. You guys are able to see it, and you're able to get to what looks like just another like building very similar to like the 10 you just walked past. But you do notice that this one is not attached to anything. It is a standalone building.
Viviana, you want to go knock that door in?
I can never find the unmute button. I should say, don't have to tell me twice, and just go and like do a full, just 1, 2, kick,
Who laid in there?
kick, punch.
Right? Um, I'm going to let that just happen. I'm not going to make you
Oh.
play for it.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Okay.
as you,
I was gonna say that's sus, Ollie.
yep, thanks. As you guys kick, okay, I should say, as Viviana kicks in the door, powerhouses it down. Um, what is the order in which you all are standing?
Oh god.
I will say that Rue is probably, if not last, at least close to last, because she wants to use her drone spider again.
Excellent.
I'll probably be in. If you want to be last, I'll be in front of you, Rue. And I
I'll be-
assume
I'll probably be behind Viviana.
Scalpel up
like,
front.
He's
that's
like,
true. You are feeling very stabby lately. I don't want to get in your way.
just pieces. These are pieces now.
I love it.
Too much death, not enough life. So
Right.
constant.
Okay. So, the door is kicked in. And Viviana, it hits you first. You definitely smell tanning chemicals. Like, this is like. But there's like something else with it. And you're not exactly sure, but it feels sadly familiar to you.
Oh no.
Formaldehyde.
and Mary, you smell it immediately, and you're like, yes, my job. like you're just like, you don't think necessarily bad things because like you have fond memories of being an architect. You love it. Like you're like, okay, great. And
I'll have everything I need to tan the leather.
right.
Let's go.
And you're like, this is great. All right, fantastic. And Tove, you are like, okay, yes, this smells very familiar to me. And you're like tanning chemicals. And and for you, you don't really like neither you nor Mary smell anything extra or different. You just are like, oh, this feels familiar. Like I know what this is.
Mhm.
And Rue, you as you are walking in as well, and that door is kicked open, you're like, God, good night. Like, you are not a fan. And you've smelled some pretty rough things outside of the Citadel, and you were like, wow, okay, this is bad. This is not okay. You smell something, and you're just like, you smell the chemicals because you do know what that smell is. I mean, all of you do. It's a very familiar smell, and you're like, okay, great. And as you guys go in, I mean, the house is lit. There's electricity humming. There's even some like candles. Even some like
She comes with
candles.
props.
I right? She said
I don't
no.
have anything that looks like what Rue would wear, though. I have flowery things. But, like,
But
100% would be, like,
You look like a
makeshift
bandit.
bandana
right,
mask, yeah.
right. And so
Fair.
you guys walk in and like it's a pretty empty like room, and actually it is kind of what I would call like what I would see as a receiving room. Okay, so like a room where people walk in to like drop off their dead. I mean, like that's the best way I can describe it. Okay, so you have like tables and you have like I mean, body slabs. Like you've got things,
Mhm.
and on these slabs, like there's nothing like out of the ordinary. There are dead bodies, and they're not dead bodies that look rough or bad. These are these are dead bodies. We
Are
use
they
everything.
all female?
No, they are not.
Hmm.
But there'll
In the
still be that.
I mean,
We
I
just
and
need,
know, but
we
like
need to
she
go
said, they didn't look like
down.
anything was wrong. So I was
Yeah.
like, hmm.
no, it
We
doesn't.
need to
It
find
looks
the proverbial seventh circle of
you
hell
know,
at this point.
right. I hate to be like the, the bring out your dead reference, but that's very much what this feels like. Like this just feels very like, eh, all right. This is where everybody goes when we can't keep you alive. and and so that is that I mean, and that's what you see. This is something that like, as far as like Tove and Mary go, they see this literally every day. They
They're
don't care.
they're not active constructs though, right? They're
No,
not
no,
like
these
they're
and
not
there's
gonna
not that
sit up
many.
and
There's
okay.
like 3. Some of them are like pieces. Okay, like sometimes we don't always recover the whole body. This is what we get. 2 arms were found. Guess what? We still drop those 2 arms off. Okay, like that's what this is. And
More I
it
don't
I
want to
mean,
stab constructs.
no, you're good. These are all this is all fine. Nothing you see nothing out of the ordinary here. None of you. Um, you do see ahead of you though as you walk in into this like receiving room and you like go in, you do see down is a hallway, and in the hallway there are about 3 different doors. There would be 2 on the left and there's 1 on the right. It's not a very tiny hallway or anything. I mean, this is like this is a work laboratory. So this room is big enough for wheeling carts through, getting bodies through, that machinery can get in and out of this place because you do need those things like and this too, and I can tell you now, between Mary and Tove, nothing you see in this receiving room is weird, out of the ordinary, different.
Those 3
It,
doors at the end, do any of them have a lock that looks like the key would fit?
Correct. You do not see anything on the outside of these doors. These doors just look like what a lab door. So all 3 of them have doorknobs. All 3 of them have what I would consider to be locks, but nothing like a giant padlock, nothing like metal massive. There's nothing out of the ordinary about these 3 doors.
Question. And this is just Blair not knowing the world completely and still learning. You described this doctor as a super, like, annoying ass Chad. Um, and I'm thinking about I like a fratty Chad. Um, so, and maybe this is like a far off connection. Would he have been wearing cologne? And was it Axe body spray, but in And,
Was it Yes.
Ew.
No.
and can it still be? Because that shit lingers. So, like, I just picture this, like,
Right.
really douchey, like, doctor who thinks that he's better than everybody. He has cologne. He's like, like, the ladies, you know?
So here's the thing. I will tell you, he absolutely was wearing cologne.
Hell
Ew.
yeah.
Whether it was because he was a Chad or because he knows what his job is.
Oh, I guess that's more likely. That's more likely.
He is wearing something for sure to try and cover up that smell. And you probably would have smelled it. What it smells like, we'll say it smells like Axe bodies, right?
Of course.
Ultimately, it smells very intense, and but I mean for good reason. It's not something you would have noticed out of the ordinary, specifically for what he does. So you'd have been like, oh, okay. And moving, he you don't hear anything either, which is like not something you totally expect, right? Like if you're coming to a lab, y'all aren't hear anything, you don't really smell anything that's like different besides what Rue and Viviana smell. Now Mary and Tove are not going to notice the difference of what's going on. That extra smell they are not going to, purely on principle of their job. And you and you guys are like, okay, you're looking around. There are 3 doors. They literally all look the same. They have the same amount of light coming through them and shining in the rooms. There's no difference between them. But you do notice that the hall goes on a little bit further and you cannot see. I mean, it is in the dead of night at this point.
Yeah, definitely just try all the doors. Just make sure that they're all actually locked.
Okay.
Just like you go through.
Yeah,
Dr.
which
Graves, are you home?
which door? So you have 2 on the left and 1 on the right. Which do you do first? I'm assuming whichever one is first. Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So there is a door on the door on the right is the first one.
Okay.
You open it, and you it opens like easily. Like there's no resistance, nothing. It's just lit. It's a room. You look, you see, and you see basically filing cabinets. You see like records. Nothing wild. You do see a smaller desk in the room. And as you look, there's like a plaque on it, and the plaque says, Mackenzie Weathers. Um, it's nothing out of the ordinary, okay? Like there's like manuals, there's manuscripts, how-tos, all that stuff, medical journals, all that stuff, as well as like it's filing cabinets. Like one wall is literally nothing but filing cabinets. Do you go on to the next room?
I'm gonna have Veronica open the next door. Not Veronica, Vivian. Oh, she ran away. Fuck.
She ran to
Mary,
go-
open the next door.
Okay, sure.
She said, I
opened the-
volunteer you as tribute. Get out
Well,
there.
because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sift through. I'm gonna look through open the filing cabinets and quick look for like some of the names that we saw.
Yeah, I'll open the next door.
Okay.
Stabby time. No?
So
That
as you
might be.
open that, right. So as you open that door, but first, Tove,
Mm-hmm.
you're sifting through some of the files and you don't really see anything out of the ordinary in these. As you're looking through, you actually find that a lot of these, like specifically the first 2 or 3 filing cabinets are literally like what I would consider like their version of autopsies, right? Like what's viable, what's not viable. This is what we're using, blah blah blah. Like normal stuff, right? You see this every day, yeah. And it's like you see like Mackenzie's name like signed, like it's like what you would do if when you were in Florence. Like you're like, okay, you don't find anything especially noteworthy. And as Mary goes and opens that second door, which will be the door on the left, you are seeing it's just another very similar room, a smaller office. This one, it says, This one is like, doesn't even have a plate, like a plaque that says like Dr. Nigel Graves, but you get the vibe like this is just like his like office to have here, right? You look on the wall, it's like big pieces of like paper and parchment, which is a very rare thing, like with like
I do like paper, so
Right.
I'll take a closer look.
with like the anatomical like man on it. I mean, these are things that have stood the test of time. These are things that like, nothing out of the ordinary, like the architect's oath is written on a piece of the parchment hanging on the wall. And there's like, I would say about 2 to 3 filing cabinets in there as well.
Um. Right. Where does he keep all the good stuff? And Mary says that, like,
Yeah,
like
I'm sure I can hear.
I'll open a cabinet and I'll be like, probably like, oh look, the legal stuff.
More stuff, yeah. Like,
Tova's gonna
There's-
exit.
Lucky
Okay,
door
there's-
number 3. Like,
yep, there's a third door.
Let's do it together. Viviana,
You got volunteered.
our tank. Let's go.
Please. Just-
there's a
They're
reason
doing
we're
that.
grateful. We're very grateful for you.
Because I kicked down.
While they're doing that, can I have my little spider go down the dark hallway that we can't see through
Ooh.
anymore?
Yes, you can.
Cool.
So-
I'll like be setting up while they're kicking down doors.
Sounds good. All right, so you go, Viviana, and you open this third door. This third door, it like when you go to push it, it gets stuck. It's not locked. Just kind of like you got to give it a little bit of right. And
a
you're
door
like,
that I can't kick down in one swift move. Shit. This is bad.
right?
Bad news,
It's just
you guys.
it's just like you open it. And as you open it, it's actually quite bigger than you anticipated this room. Like you thought after looking at both those other 2 rooms as you're walking through, you're like, oh wow, okay. So this is bigger than you thought. And as you kind of look around, there's some tanning chemicals. There are what would be like, scalpels and knives, surgical equipment kind of laid out. It all actually looks really professional, nothing too out of the ordinary. And as you look and you keep scanning the room, you're just like looking, like you're not, you're like, okay, well, there's no surprise behind door number 3. All right, I'm just gonna look. And you look and you see what looks to be a construct standing there. It's not doing anything. It's not moving. It's not, from what you can tell, it doesn't. It's not awake. Okay, like this looks like a construct in construction. Like this is like the pieces of one, being put together. It's mostly done, but you can tell that it's like not done. And there is nothing gendered about this. There is nothing odd, unusual at all.
It's not a nanny, right?
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
It's nothing like that.
No nannies.
And you are seeing this room and you're like, okay, I don't see anything unusual. Now, Rue, you go ahead and you fire up your little like spider. What is it? It's the what is it?
Drone. It's a
Thank you.
yeah.
I don't know why
it's the-
that word escaped me. Hey, right. But you fire up your drone, right? Your spider, it starts walking down the hallway with ease. Honestly, like there's no reason I can't do it. It's done this type of thing a million times. And as you're like looking through it, I will say, Viviana, you kind of like come out of that room a tiny bit, okay? And you're going down and you see there is down the hallway a door that is pure metal. Even in daytime, as dark as this is, because there are no windows whatsoever in any of these rooms, as well as this hallway, is all lit purely by electricity. If it weren't for the reflections of the glass of that room, there's no way you would have even seen that this hallway kept going. Like, this is something that is like purely by chance. You keep going and you see this door, and it's a dead end. There's nothing else.
My spider's like camera angle kind of like go up to see if there's a lock on the door. Is there any like?
Absolutely.
Okay. Absolutely, there is a lock.
It's a massive, and I mean massive. Like, I know, yes, you guys, I always think about these, like, you know how there's a normal house door, a normal room door, right? So, like, there's a normal front door, like, triple it. Like, this is a massive door, and I mean massive. It looks heavy, it looks intense, and it does have a giant lock on it that the metal is very similar from what you can tell to the keys in which Tove is holding.
Clang clang, let's open some doors.
I'm gonna say eyes locked on the lock.
Eyes on lock to you, lock. All right. Yes. Okay. You guys make your way down the hall, I'm assuming. Do you tell everyone, Rue? I'm assuming everybody is
Yeah.
going. We're like, yeah,
Yeah,
okay, we know this is what we're doing.
As long as
Lonnie
you
making
tell
a
me,
silly
I'm
joke.
there.
Lonnie
long as
making
you
a silly
tell me.
joke about being eyes locked on the lock was like, yeah, was Rue letting everyone know. And
Perfect. I love that. Oh, eyes on the lock. Okay. Give it. No. All right. um. So I'm assuming that you attempt to open it, Tove.
Yeah. I mean,
All right.
I'll probably give the keys.
There's there's 3 keys on there, but they are heavy. Like, they are very heavy. Like,
Yeah, I'll unlock the door, but like I'm gonna want Viviana and her strength to
Right.
probably pull it open.
Got it. Okay. So
How many architects does it take to open a door?
Right. Ironically,
None, because you have a
Technofant
to do it for you.
Right. So yes,
Sorry.
you go ahead and ironically, it's the first key you try.
Whoa.
You hear the mechanism click, and you kind of almost hear like a piston like release. And Viviana, I'm assuming you attempt to open the door.
Yes.
When you
I
go,
take my laser pistol out of my backpack while we're all like moving towards the door. I have it.
excellent.
Surprising no one.
She'll be ready to
Scary with
like.
their scalpel.
She'll be ready to not like open it and like stand in the middle, like definitely like trying to pull it to get to the side, but is prepared.
So, okay, as you go and you pull, this door actually moves with great ease. It's like,
I don't like this.
when
Why
you
is
know
this so
when
easy?
when you go to like grab a door and you're like, oh, that was way easier than I thought, or oh, I
Yes.
didn't know is lighter than I thought. Like, you pick something up. Oh gosh, that is what this is. You are ready to like in your power suit, which by the way is massive. You like grab it and you're thinking I'm gonna have to, and it like you slam it. Yeah, you pull so hard it like I mean, it is like you're lucky you didn't like rip it out. Like, it is too easy, in fact. And as you open it, the room is a solid room. There's nothing. It is just one big room, but it is very big. And in there, You see um masses of amounts of like medical slab tables. You see things like um speculums. You see things like jars. You see things and um is anyone else also looking with her, or are we all standing behind her?
I was
Um,
figuring you was looking.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
want to assume, so I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to say so. You see things like two ovaries in a jar. You see skin stretched. Uh, you see what would be from the midline, like up of a female torso with breasts still attached. Um, you see actually on the table to your left um, about what would look like 6 different scalps of hair, all varieties of color. Specifically, the one at the end is blue.
was that the color that Mackenzie's hair was?
Nope, that was the color of Marigold's
Gold.
hair.
Oh no!
Hey, she poofed.
They poofed. Um, and you also it's not just the hair. You're looking and like each table, there's like 6 tables in here. Each table has what I would say a different body part, a different organ, kind of like all sectioned out. And there's not as many as like the scalps of hair. There's not like 6 of them, right? Like we're talking like we see like 2 half torsos midline up. On the next table, we see a handful of uteruses and jars of ovaries and tanning skin, and we see things. Um, and as you have gazed across all of this, like you're looking at all of this, and you start like making your way up around the rest of the room, you are noticing that this isn't just like there are canvases of paper with detailed instructions, very similarly to like the medical journal you have found. And it's stitching techniques and tanning techniques. And as you're looking, Dr. Graves pops around the corner from the other side. It's one room, it's true, but you can't see every angle of this room. It's not an open room, it's just massive. And he pops from behind a filing cabinet, and he actually is surprised to see you all. And he looks up and he says, I feel like it took you long enough. I mean, I guess it doesn't really surprise me.
So have you finished piecing whatever this is together? Because you certainly seem to be taking your sweet time.
Well, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and, mine is the standard. So it
Huh.
needs to be damn near perfect. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta keep living. But there's a lot of death in here. And I'm stepping closer as I'm talking. So so explain, because obviously I'm not quite understanding. Like, I'm understanding the procedures, and obviously you're trying to put something together. End goal is what? The perfect woman? Or the perfect baby maker? Or what are we like? You're working on different techniques for tanning? Because I'm seeing a bunch of different information here.
And he kind of just like, he knows at this point that he is caught. He does not care. Like, he is, and it's almost like that narcissistic, pompous attitude that of like, you can say what you want, but it's not going to matter in the end. I'm still going to be on top because I've done nothing wrong, right? Like we all know people who live like that. And he kind of looks at Mary after she finishes and he just says, society is failing men. Society is failing humanity. Women are failing humanity.
Hmm. Interesting. So how does that resolve? How does this resolve that?
I mean, surely you'd agree, right? Like, we're in desperate times, desperate measures. Like, wouldn't it be great if there was someone who could reproduce without all the work?
I could see the benefits if you had viable, well, offspring. Do you have viable offspring? Or anything
Well,
yet?
hold on. What makes you think if we were able to build constructs, what makes you think that the architects haven't already looked into this and decided that it was unacceptable?
No,
You think
Oh.
you're
no.
the first to come up with this
Mhm.
idea?
Oh no, but that's the thing. And actually, Kelly, you would know this. It's not that it's not viable. It's that it's still very new. The
Well,
idea of
I think what I meant by like viable was like socially viable, like unacceptable.
mm, yes,
Like the costs outweigh the benefits.
got you. Okay, I'm tracking now. All right.
Sorry, I'm just trying
No,
to be like,
it's okay.
yeah,
Oh,
since,
Right.
like you think this hasn't already been explored
Also,
by
Oh,
the
it ha-
Citadel?
Okay, and he hears
Yeah.
that. Okay, and he says, "Yeah, no, it has," and I'm continuing the work.
huh. Okay.
He kind of looks at you guys, and he says,
So, offspring. No, I really am curious because if you have offspring, then this makes it a different story. If you have viable offspring, then obviously we can go back to the Citadel and go look what Dr. Graves has done.
he looks at you, and he says, "Truth be told, most people are beneath me, therefore making me far superior." Um, and he looks at Rue, and he's like, the advantages of working on these women is that they are essentially my property. They're my birthright for simply just being me.
Um,
How close
Rue-
have I managed to get?
Rue has her gun trained on him and just says, "And what if we make you just another body part on one of these tables? What are you then?"
It could be me. You're right. You could rid the world of me, but if it's not me, it's just going to be someone else later down the line.
Oh no, I have trouble to think that people could stoop as low as you.
Mhm.
We live in a whack society, but oh man, do you make it so much worse.
Okay, I'm Mary's done. Mary's done. So using advanced medicine, scalpel in hand, and I will take every single thing I have in gear and basically run up and slit his throat and exsanguate him. Basically, all the blood will come out and he will be turned into a
He will
construct.
just bleed out on the floor.
Nope, that's honestly unless you got some other plan there to stop her, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm done with Mr. Crazy.
He looks at you, and here's the thing: he doesn't really fight you. Like, he's like, okay. Like it's not necessarily lets you, right? Like he's not like,
That's
oh,
fine.
stab me because I love it. He's just like, nah, he knows that it is a 4 against 1. That he knows that there is a technophont standing right there in her armor, and there's nothing he can do. And before this happens, Mary, he looks at all of you and he says, it's been so hard to find good, reliable help. And she was exactly what I was looking for. She was the most efficient. And he lets you, for lack of better terms, like he doesn't fight it. He allows you to stab him.
But before you do that, who's he talking about?
He's talking about Mackenzie. He probably just implied that he killed her. I
I think
I slit his throat.
Yeah, it was too late to.
Yeah,
Well, and because you did
time-wise.
I don't even. So here's the thing: it actually was going to be 3 successes, and you did it.
Oh,
So, you absolutely. That's why I'm like, you absolutely do what you want to do. It is like a quick slice, like the skilled surgeon you are, Mary. Your cuts are clean. Your cuts are efficient. They are deep and to the point. And when this happens, he says that as you just like very like demon barber of Fleet Street just like like and it is like blood just runs down his crisp white t-shirt and or I should say dress shirt and his he is wearing an apron folded in half and it reaches to the floor and it is I mean I assume Mary, Tove, and Viviana probably don't flinch at all when this happens. Rue, what do you do?
Think that anger that settled in right before she passed out from the gas that he sent us all in is back again. And I think she is surprised with herself that is able to kind of, like, she kind of steals herself and she's shocked that she's able to. And that's going to be a big moment for her. But that anger just takes over any kind of nausea or anything that would have taken place there.
And as like this, and as his throat is slit, like there's no going back at this point. He kind of just looks at all of you so disapprovingly and smiles that Chad fucking smile. The fucking Chad smile. The entitlement. The
I shoot it off his face.
narcissism.
is he?
Can
Is
I
oh
shoot
no
it
no
off his
no
face? Can
no
I
no
shoot it
no
off his
no
face?
no. Hold on. Is he dead? He can be
Oh, he's
smiling.
straight dying. Like,
Okay, but he's not dead yet.
I mean, mostly. I mean, he's bleeding
Okay,
now. Like, it
so
take like what is it? Like 2 minutes, two and a
it
half
can
minutes,
take
like from a
a
jugular
minute.
cut. Like,
It's a minute to 45 seconds depending on age and
yeah,
health.
like.
Things you research you do as a writer. So ladies, while he's smugly dying, we need to control the narrative here. We don't need other people getting the idea that this is a good idea. So we're going to edit the notes, keep the things that are useful so that these women haven't died in vain. But we're going to make sure that the credit goes to Mackenzie and not him.
Yeah. Let's have
Just for starters.
Yeah, we want the names of the victims.
And then we'll let
then-
the Citadel know that he did a whole bunch of horrible
And
murders that serve no
as you guys are
proof.
talking about this, the names of those victims kind of like pop up back in your head, and you're like, for Lillian, for Betsy, for Anarka, for Lucy, for May, for Gia. You still see nothing in any of the notes that you go through, even in this area, of anything alluding to something happening to Mackenzie. But it is really late, and it could have been a last-ditch effort to protect himself, as well as like the big F you to the four of you. Um, I mean, he lays dead at your feet, Mary. Like, absolutely, it's just like he's bled out. It's done.
Yeah.
We're
But
done
he's
Alright.
heard
on
that
him.
we're gonna write him out of history, right? As he was dying. That's what I was asking. Is that
Oh, okay.
he heard us say we were gonna write him out of
I
history
want
as he
him to
died.
hear that he will not
That's
live in history.
yeah. And well, you know, like I said, waste not, want not. He's parts,
Love
but
it.
his
Perfect.
his work, any good that would come from it, goes to others.
Question. Just
Yes.
because I don't fully know how this, and this is Viviana talking. I don't fully know how all this works, but if he were to be like made into a like a
Construct?
construct or something,
Oh.
would there be a part of him that was still
Mm-mm.
Not if I shoot his brains out.
well?
No. Like at this point, I mean, like fine motor functions, all of that kind of thing. But any sort of I'm Dr. Graves, that's gone.
Yeah, my
Especially not if I
thing.
shoot his brains out.
Well, hold on. My thing. I'm all for shooting someone's brains out.
Rue very much
Just
so
shoot
still
his
has the
whole
gun
face
just
off. He
aimed.
doesn't need a
He
face. He can get a new
grabbed
one.
my face, and that is enough to make me want to shoot off his.
Sorry,
I'm
let's hear what Vivian wants to say.
Sorry.
We're being mean
I'm
to our tank.
I'm all for, you know, treating this shitbag, giving him his just desserts, but or just yeah, that's the phrase. But I feel like what would affect him more is if he was proven wrong and he heard that he was proven wrong. So if there was a way that
Okay.
like
So,
is there a way that he could like we could still have him where he like hears like we go to the Citadel and the Citadel is like, yeah, what you did was fucked up, so he realizes like he wasn't shit.
okay. So, this is actually debated hotly. It is hotly. It is the most controversial thing when it comes to constructs in general all of in all of Florence, and apparently as well as in Verona. This is a this is a whole thing. Mary and Tove would absolutely be very aware of this. I would assume Rue would be very aware of this. I assume you would also be very aware of this. Um, the idea is that when you become a construct, you're dead. The memories of who you were and what you were are non existent. The fact of the matter is, stories throughout Florence and all of Italy and anyone in the medical community, there are always stories that contradict this. The idea that once you become a construct, you no longer know who you are, there's no way to prove that. The idea that once you become a construct, you forget everyone you've ever known, anyone you've ever loved, anything you've ever done, there's no way to prove it. The goal is to make it painless, infoless. You know, I mean, nobody wants to resurrect the dead to keep them alive and think about the things that they did or how they died or who they hurt. That's never the goal. But this is a hotly debated thing.
Which is
So
why Mary's making the arguments that Mary's making.
I can't. So that's why, as like your machinist, I can't tell you yes, you could do it. I also know that I cannot tell you no, you cannot do it.
I mean, he's dead regardless, so that's something.
Could you
But
get, as she says that, y'all kind of like look over and it's just like his blood is just literally starting to take up the whole floor.
How about Mary, you and I?
Why don't we need to hang him up so that the rest of the blood drains out, so we're able to put the other chemicals in and the things we need to do to make him a construct.
Sorry to the vegetarians and vegans in the world. So like you're
Oh,
slaughtering a
sorry.
hog.
Correct.
Yeah.
You've got to drain the blood, otherwise the meat goes bad. This
How
is
about
how
you and I
camels.
make him a construct, and we program him that where he has to serve women in a subservient role.
I don't want him anywhere near women. I'd rather make sure that I want to have a tinker with the brain and make sure certain parts where like memory and whatnot are zapped and whatnot. Like
I'm happy with that, but I want I think having him in a subservient role to the whole gender that he claimed to initially be above would be.
how about like shoveling shit?
Actually, one thing while we're doing this, did Vivian and Rue maybe want to have a look for Mackenzie in case she was around somewhere, like tied up in a corner? Like, I don't know if that's even possible, but there's not much you can do when we're basically getting ready to, tan and drain the body of blood and mess with the brain and the fun architects.
Yeah. If they want to go look for
As
Mackenzie,
you
that'd be
guys,
helpful.
as you guys are discussing things, and you're like the two of you are straight brass tacks right now. You are like, let's vibe and let's
Talking
work.
shop.
Well, I've got
let's
the
do some
construct.
things.
Zap zap. I mean, there's
And
already
like Rue is sitting there like just holding like her, what was it? Your laser what? Your laser what?
Laser rifle.
Thanks. Your laser rifle, and you're just like, just let me shoot his face off. Like like and like which is wild to hear a technosopher say, right? Like this is not something you typically feel. And like you see like you see the technophont who is usually like, let me blast them faces off, let me punch you into oblivion, like, but can he feel things and can he remember things? Like, it's a very much a role switch here, like, like, and you guys are like chatting and stuff, and all of a sudden you kind of just hear this knock, 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 um, on like the wall, and you kind of like your head's looked up and you look around and all of a sudden you see this sweet little black, like, or very dark brown, like short hair, um young woman. And Rue, you absolutely recognize that this is Mackenzie, like, instantly, and she's like
Oh my god.
completely fine.
She
And
just like instantly drops the gun, just loses all concept of the fact that that man even existed, and like just goes up to her and like surprisingly like almost like trying to touch her face, but like just like thinking it's weird, and then like doesn't, but like, oh my god, I thought he got you. Okay.
Oh, Mackenzie, come help. Come fulfill the other part of the architect's oath. And I call her over to start helping us turn Dr. Graves into a
he
construct.
like looks down, and like as she steps in and she gets a few feet in, she's not really paying attention. You hear her say though, like out loud, as she's like milling about to come in, she's like, oh my gosh, I've never been in here, I didn't even know this place fucking existed. I go to my office, I go to the other room, like I work out in the, like you hear her like kind of mumbling to herself like what her day-to-day is actually like. And
Amazing tools. I'll show
Should
you
we
how to
be
use them.
guarding her from this? No,
No,
pain,
no, no, no.
mind.
She's an architect.
she walks in, and as she keeps going, she like straight steps in the liquid, and she looks down and is like, what the? and she realizes it's blood, and she's like, she keeps going and comes around like the last table, and she sees like Dr. Graves laying on the floor, and she kind of looks
Well,
at
we've
you
we've hung
guys.
him up
Oh, you did.
at
You
this
actually
point.
did that. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought that was a joke. If I'm being
No, no,
honest,
no.
great.
It's for the
So as
purpose
she
of
sees
canon.
that, she kind of screams in horror, and she sees, and she steps in the blood, and is like, "What the hell?"
We're making a construct.
Okay, a lot has happened.
And she like looks to Rue and is like, she doesn't say it, but she definitely gives you the eyes of WTF. Like, what is happening?
Keep working.
Yeah, yeah. Mary
I'm gonna
and
find a bone saw and take off part of the skull and like start zapping parts
Mary
and like
and Tove are
triggering.
just like living their best life. Like, this is easy. It's like muscle memory. They're doing it. They don't even have to think. Like,
No,
and she
really, it's
looks at
amazing to
Rue,
have a corpse
and
this
it's like
fresh.
she's a very very pale girl. Like I said, when I introduced her, she was alabaster. This is like, she looks sick now. Like, she is next level WTF. Like, she looks at you and Rue, she's like, what the, what, what, what happened?
Everything, everything we were saying in there earlier was true. Um
No.
they can I'll like gesture towards the two busy architects.
Well, he said
Um,
he killed you, so that was this. It's great to see that you're alive. Like, this is fantastic news because he
I
was trying to
love
be like,
the
"Oh, I
indifference.
murdered her."
I love
And
the
zap,
indifference.
zap.
they can explain anything you want to know.
You say that, and she looks right at Tove and goes, give me the medical journal now.
Are you sure you want to see that?
Did I stutter? And
That
this is like
needs
a
to go to
version
the
of Mackenzie
Citadel.
that you've not really seen. Like, this is like, if I'm going to be complicit in murder or knowing that murder happened, she needs a reason.
Sure. Here you go.
And she takes the book from you and she starts like looking through it page by page, and she is silent for like the next hour while y'all are like preparing like the
Oh, yeah.
skin.
We
Yeah,
didn't
and
stop.
we're still
Yeah, no, that's what I'm like.
jabbering away.
And here's the thing, she doesn't stop you either. Despite knowing she's going to be complacent in this, she doesn't stop you.
Yeah, I even through the course of it is like, you're probably going to be looking for a new position. I've been looking for an assistant at the Citadel. So, something to consider while you're looking through the book. Yeah, I zap his
She's
brain,
just
his
like
arm twitches again.
she's in information overload, and she's like, okay. As she keeps like turning, she's like, okay. An hour goes by, and she looks at you guys, and she's like, okay, okay.
You
And she
come work
kind
for
of,
me?
and she like looks at Marion, she looks at Tove, and is like, okay. Like she cannot say anything else. She just keeps like, okay, okay. Like she's the gears are turning. She's rationalizing it.
Okay.
She
So
I'm gonna get her some water because she seems to be in shock.
And I'm gonna take off my leather Citadel apron and put it on her and be like, "Welcome to the team."
She's
And
gonna
then go
let
back.
you
Go
do
back
it
to
because
work.
she's like, look, a job is better than no job. And so and at this point, despite knowing very little about you, Mary, she is like, okay, okay, okay. And she looks at Viviana and is like, how? And she's like, does anyone? And she kind of looks at like all of you and is like, Gia. And as she says this, like tears well up in her eyes and they just start falling down her face. Because she realizes at this point the fate her dear friend, her colleague, her classmate has probably like befallen. Like, Gia, anything at all?
We're sorry that we didn't know about this sooner.
There's no indicator of her parts here yet, but we haven't done a full accounting. Now go back to work.
And with that, she looks at all of you and says, I'm really glad that the Citadel is sending the higher ups. And I say this, Kelly, who were some of your higher ups?
Oh, one of them was Mendeleev. The other one was Snow.
He's like, I contacted the Citadel and they're sending several benefactors as well as people who privately funded Nigel Graves. And she lists a bunch of names that you, at this point, still don't entirely recognize, but you do know the names. You don't know what they are to you, but you do know the names. And honestly, Mary, you probably would as well, just because you guys run in the same circles despite being very different. And she's
Good.
like, this, and she looks over at Viviana and is like, there are more technophants as well on the way. They're gonna do a sweep of the city. And they're gonna figure out if there are more of them. And she starts crying again, and she looks at you, Viviana, and Rue, and Mary, Tove, and she says, despite how hard this is, you've made a difference. And I'm really thankful for that. That is where we're going to end.
Ah, so good, Holly.
I'm so sorry that went way longer than anticipated, Kelly. I apologize.
Okay, it was good. It's worth it.
But yes, that's the end. So, if you guys liked this, please check out Necrobiotic. I do believe the website is live. I'm not for sure on pennyforatale.com. And I do know that if you're going to Gen Con, there'll be some games ran. Otherwise, you can email me, private message me on Discord at OMGHollyD. Let's chat. I'm happy to DM for y'all. Other than that, if you guys want to go around very quickly, starting with Lonnie, and tell y'all what you're doing the rest of this week, if you would like.
Yeah, there's still 2 more this week, so I can fill you in on that.
You're so busy.
It's literally just this week, and then it'll get better from there. So hi everyone, I am Lonnie or Looney Shaws. Tonight I was playing Rue. This is my second day of 4 days in a row of streaming. Which, it's fine. Everything's fine. Tomorrow I will be playing Call of Cthulhu back here on Lost Caravan. So again, more trauma, more potential murder, dying, who knows. Jason and my characters are running away to Maine. And I don't think we're gonna have a happily ever after up in Maine and just have a beach episode, so
Not
Yeah.
in Call of Cthulhu. Mm-mm.
not in Call of Cthulhu.
No.
We'll probably run into Relay if we're on the shore, but and then just to really throw you off so you never know where I'm gonna be or what vibe I'm gonna be going for, because I'm gonna be on Lost Caravan for the rest of the week. On Thursday I will be playing Wander Home with Blair. And that is very different than this game and Call of Cthulhu. It is like the most wholesome, happy. They're gonna frolic through flowers and make little crowns and, just complete 180, but I'll be here if you want to find me this week. And that's all. And it was an honor playing with all of you guys too. I always
Oh,
love playing with
yes.
all of you, and this was amazing, Holly. I know this was your first time running Necro, so or on stream, but you
Yes.
know, no, you did amazing.
All right, Blair, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Blair, or underscore Canadian Moose all over the place. Tonight I was playing Viviana. And yes, I uh times two that. Holly, this was amazing, and it was a pleasure playing with all of y'all. Super, super fun. Where am I? Well, normally I'm from High Shelf, but this week I'm from Lost Caravan completely because that's a lot of what I'm doing. So there was this on Tuesday. Yes, Thursday, Wander Home, and then next Tuesday is Nova. So more pain, more pain. But
Rough,
Wander
rough.
yeah, but Wonder Home's gonna be really fun if you want to see me playing a little well no a large um gremlin possum, then definitely show up for that. Um also on also on Wednesday we have over on High Shelf, we have the final episode of our Cyberpunk Red mini campaign, Ascension in Paradise. We've been doing a Cyberpunk Red anthology series. This is book 3, but this one is super different than the rest of them. The other two take place in this mega building called Ascension, and we are taking place in the mega building's little rich people fun island. And where we last left off, there was a tentacle with a human hand pointing an SMG. No, shooting an SMG at us. So yeah, come see if we all die in a metal bubble in the ocean.
That
So
sounds like
yeah,
the worst.
it's batshit. Taylor, I've played Cyberpunk with Taylor so many times, and every single time she surprises me. So yeah, it's crazy. The whole thing is chaotic and wonderful, and I'm very sad for the finale, but it's gonna be a good time. So definitely show up. Oh, and
Fantastic.
then Sunday I will be doing Hyrule Historia. If Legend of Zelda, come watch it over on High Shelf. So yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. All right, Kelly, you're up. Boo.
This completes a week of gaming for me. So, and after this, like, I don't have anything. So, you can find me at some point in time either here or on High Shelf.
Yes, that like I said the other night when I played last night for High Shelf, there's a lot of intersectionality between
Yeah.
Lost Caravan and High Shelf,
We're
and that's a
basically
good
just
thing. Yeah,
incestuous at this point.
I literally would tell you that's a good thing. Not not often is that a good thing. In this,
Right.
it is.
Right. Yeah. And then Holly, you did such a good job.
Kuda, go ahead. You tell everybody where to find you.
Oh, this has
You're
been my first time on Lost Caravan RPG, and I've enjoyed it so much. So thank you all for having me. You are all a delight to play with, and I just love Holly. Like whether I'm playing with her or she's one of my characters, I just when she's like, "Oh, I'm looking for someone for Necrobiotic," I'm like, "I'm in. You're involved. I'm in." But basically, Kuda Marler or at EAKM on Twitter, and I write. Um, Lots of different things. And I am slap happy tired, so we're gonna leave it there.
yes.
But
Yes.
thank you again. And big props to Hooper in the background for um dealing with everything.
Yes, I want to say thank you to
So
my cast first and foremost. You guys, it was not intended to be a two-parter. Y'all made it a two-parter, or I did. It doesn't matter who did, right? Who cares about blame? Uh, but thank you for holding on for 4 months and sticking with me. And also thank you to Lost Caravan for making sure that this happened. That means so much to me. This was my first attempt at DMing live on a stream, and this is the second part of that, and I'm very grateful for that. I am a well seasoned player, however, DMing is another game. You can find me at all things OMG Holly D. Branding, consistency. We do things here. And I mean that. Anything. OMG Holly D. Find me. Let's be friends. Yes, I would also like to say please, for the love, join the Discord for the Lost Caravan. And Hoop, I'm sure you're fine with this, but also for High Shelf Collective. They are good people. They are the best people. I vibe with them so hard, and I know that other people will as well. Um, Other than that, that's it. Thank you guys so much for showing up and showing out. Y'all made it easy. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.